Hello friends. This is Anime Reality Bender. How are you all? So in this video, we will what if Naruto incarnated in the world of fairy tale with the power of demon and Sharingan. But before we start, if you want more amazing stuff like this, then be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Also if possible share this video with your friends. Now without wasting any more time, let's begin the story. Shinobi World. Forest of dead trees. This was going from bad to worse as the fight went on, and it seemed like things were finally coming to head. Hitaki Kakashi was renowned as the copy ninja of Konohagakure no Sato and was thought to be one of the strongest shinobi of the village. But compared to the monster they were facing now, even he had to admit he couldn't possibly win. The organization known simply as the Akatsuki, a group of S-ranked criminals, had been hunting down Jinchuriki for months. Two of their members had come to capture Konoha's Kyuubi Jinchuriki, and Kakashi had led the three remaining members of Team Asuma into battle against them. Nara Shikamaru had taken on the one called Hidan, and the two had left the area. Now Kakashi stood beside Akate Yamanaka Ino and Akamichi Choji as the Akatsuki agent called Kakuzu. A man whom had said he had fought the Shodai Hokage himself, readied himself to administer the killing blow. "This is it," Kakuzu said as the two white masks embedded in his shoulders charged up. Kaden. Zukaku. Futon. Atsugai. Kamui, Kakashi whispered, and the Sharingan spun wildly. Futon. Rasengan. Sweden. Hahenryu. Gufu Suka no Jutsu. Naruto and Yamato exclaimed as they arrived on the scene and combined their jutsu into a single spinning tornado of water and wind between the two combatants. What is this? Kakuzu thought as his chest started to convulse and the space in front of him distorted into a spinning vortex. Dujutsu, oh crap, he quickly tried to evade but he was pulled into the vortex. Oh shit, Naruto thought as too was pulled in. Damn it, I can't properly control the position and size of the barrier space, Kakashi thought as he clutched his now bleeding left eye. Naruto. His blonde student couldn't escape the vortex's pull, and Yamato had already jumped back after his and Naruto's previous combination jutsu. Kakashi felt the web threads around him slacken and he quickly broke free before lunging at Naruto in the hopes of throwing both of them free of the vortex. The pull was too much however, and both of them were pulled in instead. Time slowed as the world distorted around them and they both fell through space and time. Suddenly the two fell to the ground with a pair of echoing thuds. Naruto groaned as he pushed himself back to his feet and spotted an unmoving Kakashi a few feet away. Naruto quickly rushed over to his fallen sensei with a worried look on his face. "Kakashi-sensei, are you alright?" Naruto asked as he crouched beside the copy nin. Naruto. Kakashi strained while lying on his back. He had used too much chakra. Far too much. Considering all of the jutsu I've been using today, I'm surprised I lasted as long as I did, Kakashi thought grimly. Using Kamui on top of that must have drained the last of my chakra. I don't have enough left to live through this. He looked up at the face of his student and spoke. Don't worry about me. Watch out for Kakuzu. He's a member of the Akatsuki for a reason. You've cost me quite a bit of trouble, Kakuzu spoke up as he walked out from the trees. Your heart belongs to me, Hitaki Kakashi. It's time for you to get your ass kicked, Naruto growled out with his back to the Akatsuki agent. Yeah, Kakuzu waved off the comment. I'll have it out with you another time. You're too careless, Kakashi mused. What? Kakuzu thought as an orange blur descended from the trees behind him. Rasengan! Naruto exclaimed as he slammed the spiraling sphere down into Kakuzu's back. Damn! Kakuzu winced as he was blown forwards and slammed into the side of a nearby tree with an echoing boom. Naruto. Be careful, Kakashi rasped out. I got this, Naruto said as he formed a familiar hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Two shadow clones popped into existence beside him a moment later. I won't fall for your tricks again, boy, Kakuzu sneered as he stood up and his body convulsed, spewing more black threads, including some from his mouth. He must be preparing to fight you, Kakashi spoke. Charge! Naruto yelled and his clones shot forward, only to be destroyed by Kakuzu's black threads a moment later. He's using his shadow clones to gather data on the enemy, Kakashi mused as he watched on. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Naruto quickly summoned another 3 clones and had 2 of them start directing chakra to his hands. "I'll end it with this," he yelled as a bell-like screech filled the air. A moment later he held up a spinning white chakra shuriken with what looked like a Rasengan in its center. "What is that?" Kakuzu thought with a shiver. So this is the power of the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Well, the jutsu certainly befits the beast. "Come here," Naruto yelled as he and his clones shot forward. The clones are irrelevant, Kakuzu thought as he jumped into the air. If this jutsu is anything like the one he used before, then he will need to get in close to use it. As long as I take out that jutsu and the main body, then will be over. He thrust out his black threads and impaled Naruto through the chest and arms. "I won't fall for you tricks." A second later, Naruto disappeared in a poof of smoke. "A shadow clone. Wanna bet?" Naruto shouted as he and his clones appeared behind him with another chakra shuriken in hand. "I've got you now." He mixed his real body in with the clones. Kakuzu thought in surprise. "Futon. Rasen Shuriken," Naruto exclaimed as he slammed the spinning chakra shuriken into Kakuzu's back. It spun wildly for a few seconds before propelling Kakuzu forward and expanding into a large spinning sphere of wind and power. Kakuzu screamed as his body was ripped apart until with a blast of wind the sphere exploded. After the dust cleared, Kakuzu's unmoving body could be seen in the center of the newly formed crater. The number of times the wind slashed at his body was more than even my Sharingan could see, Kakashi thought amazed. What a magnificent jutsu, it seems he's finally surpassed me. Jutsu that were even beyond Minato-sensei are well within his grasp. Kakashi-sensei. I did it. Naruto laughed softly as he clutched his bleeding right arm. Nicely done, Naruto, Kakashi gasped out and slipped into unconsciousness. Kakashi-sensei, Naruto cried in worry. Just then he heard a rustle from the nearby trees and turned to see what it was. "Who's there?" he demanded. "Calm yourself, young man." An elderly woman emerged from the woods with pink hair of all things. "Sakura-chan?" Naruto asked upon seeing her hair. "Sakura, my name is Perliuzuka," the woman responded. "I heard the explosion and came to investigate." "Please, you have to help my sensei," Naruto pleaded. "He's dying." "I will see what I can do," Perliuzuka conceded and crouched down beside the white-haired man. "Come with me, my home isn't far from here." Earthland. East Forest, Perliuzuka's house. Truthfully, Perliuzuka had only gone to investigate because she had felt an unusual disturbance similar to anima and wanted to see what had caused it. When she had first arrived at the scene, she wasn't surprised to see that the 3 combatants had already finished their battle. One of them was dead, and from what she was able to understand, the nucleus of every cell in his body had been destroyed by whatever had created that crater she had found him in. The blonde boy also had a similar but noticeably less amount of the same damage in his right arm, which she had bandaged up and healed to the best of her considerable ability. Finally, the white-haired man was on his deathbed, which seemed to be caused by the lack of life energy in his body. She had tried to augment his rapidly depleting life force and he had regained consciousness, but sadly creating life was beyond even her powers. "You're going to be fine," Naruto tried to reassure both himself and the copy nin, but Kakashi just chuckled at his words. "I think we both know that's not true this time, Naruto." Kakashi leaned his head back and sighed. "Naruto, I have something to ask of you," he gasped out as he looked up at him. "What is it?" Naruto asked with tears falling down his face. "I want you to take my Sharingan," Kakashi answered. "Sensei, I can't," Naruto started. Take it and use it. It's a tool I was entrusted with. Now I'm entrusting it to you, Naruto," Kakashi interrupted. "Please, grant a shinobi's dying wish. You of all people should understand a dying wish, Naruto." Yeah, Naruto nodded, remembering another dying wish, though that one was ignored by the people of Konoha. "Save your strength, sensei," Naruto told him. "No. Not yet, Sasuke. When you run into him again, he may not be the boy we once knew. As his friend, I want you to stop him from falling even more into darkness than he already is. I fear what he may become if you don't stop him before that happens," Kakashi whispered, and the blonde pulled back. "Damn it, why is this happening?" Naruto cried. "Perliuzuka-san, my left eye. I want you to remove it and implant it in Naruto, Kakashi said as he turned his head to look at the elderly woman. Are you sure? Perliuzuka asked curious. That red eye of his must be something special if he was asking her to transfer it to the blonde boy. I'm sure. You need to do it now, Perliuzuka-san, Kakashi told her, and she reluctantly nodded. Kakashi didn't feel a thing as she numbed his eye socket, and suddenly his vision in his left eye turned into a dark void. Naruto didn't move as she repeated the process with him by removing his left eye and slowly inserted the Sharingan into the eye socket. Naruto blinked several times and covered his left eye with his hand. It's done, Perliuzuka said finally. I leave the rest to you. Naruto, Kakashi whispered before darkness finally claimed him. Kakashi-sensei. Naruto sobbed as his master passed away. Perliuzuka watched on silently, and after a few seconds passed by she quietly exited the room, leaving the blonde boy to mourn his master's passing. An hour later she returned to the sight of Naruto with his head resting on the side of the bed with red streaks down the side of his face, clearly asleep. She sighed at yet another death happening within her lifetime and pulled a small blanket over Naruto's still form. Perhaps there was something she could do for the boy. Naruto's mindscape. Jinchuriki seal. The next day Naruto rested Kakashi's body on a small bonfire and set it ablaze as per protocol. Upon death and in the event that Shinobi's body cannot be returned to the village, it was to be burned to keep the body's secrets from falling into enemy hands. A week passed since then, and Perliuzuka had explained to Naruto where he was. At first Naruto didn't believe he could possibly be in another world entirely, but that changed when he confronted the demon within him. So my jailer finally returns, Kyuubi spoke mockingly as he watched his container approach the cage doors. I knew you would come back. I want answers, Fox, Naruto said with a glare. Where the hell am I? And how do I get back to Konoha? I do not answer to you, boy, Kyuubi snarled back. Do not ask questions to which you already know the answer. So the old hag was telling the truth. We really did end up in another world? Naruto asked. You seem surprised, Kyuubi mocked. Surely you remember what that master of yours told you about his jutsu. Don't you dare mock Kakashi-sensei, Naruto glared back. Even if he did give you that accursed eye of his, you are still nothing before me, Kyuubi sneered. One day this seal will weaken completely and I will break free. When that day comes I will devour you and wreak havoc on this world, and this time I will not be manipulated by those disgusting Uchiha. When this seal does finally collapse I will kick your overgrown furry ass and take your power once and for all. That's a promise, Naruto shot back and turned away. Just you wait, Fox. We'll settle our score then. He walked out of the chamber and vanished from the mindscape. I'll be waiting, Naruto, Kyuubi said darkly as its massive red eyes closed and it drifted off to sleep again. Earthland. East Forest. Kuchio's no jutsu, Naruto exclaimed and slapped his hand down on the ground. A large seal matrix spread out across the ground, and a second later a large human-sized toad appeared in a poof of smoke. Yo Gamakichi, he greeted the toad. Bro, you're alive, Gamakichi exclaimed. When we didn't hear anything from you we were beginning to worry. Your friends returned to Konoha and reported that you and your sensei were pulled into his jutsu along with the enemy. That guy from Akatsuki, Kakuzu I think his name was, he's dead, Naruto explained. I'm fine, but Kakashi-sensei, he didn't make it. I see, Gamakichi nodded in understanding. I'm sorry. So am I, Naruto said finally. Your eye. Gamakichi trailed off upon seeing Naruto's leaf headband covering his left eye. Don't tell me that sensei of yours gave you his Sharingan. Yeah, he did, Naruto replied. It was his dying wish. I've burned his body so no one else can get anything from him, he added. Anyway, can you help me get home? I could reverse summon you to Myobokuzen, Gamakichi mused. And then we could summon you back to Konoha from there. Let's do that, Naruto nodded. Jiraiya thought that you might actually summon us to get into contact with Konoha, so he wanted to speak with you, Gamakichi told him. Once I reverse summon you to Myobokuzen I'll then reverse summon Jiraiya and you can talk about what to do from there. Sounds like a plan, Naruto nodded. Alright then, Gamakichi said and disappeared in a poof of smoke. So you're going home, an aged voice spoke from behind him. I don't know if I'll be coming back, Naruto said without turning round. If you do, I look forward to our next meeting. Uzumaki Naruto, Perliuzuka spoke sternly, and a second later Naruto disappeared in a poof of smoke. Summon Realm. Myobokuzan. So this is where you live? Naruto asked as he looked around at the strange toad village. Yes it is, a small elderly-looking green toad spoke from ahead. I am Fukasaku. This place is really a separate world from both the shinobi world and Earthland, where you found yourself sent during your last fight. How many worlds are there? Naruto asked the elder toad. Many, Fukasaku replied cryptically. I know of only 4 more. How many people know about this? Naruto inquired further. Just the other animals that inhabit this realm, Fukasaku answered. Our territory borders the snakes and slugs. There are also numerous other summon contractors in this world. Ours is one of the only worlds that allow travel between others. What about Earthland? Naruto asked. We haven't had a summoner in Earthland for centuries, Fukasaku replied. That's dragon territory, he added. Dragons? Naruto asked in surprise. They're real. Of course they are, Fukasaku shrugged. Though they may have died off, I don't know. Like I said, we haven't had any contact with Earthland for centuries. You sure had Tsunade Heim, worried brat, a new familiar voice spoke up from behind him. Ero Sennin, Naruto asked in surprise. I heard what happened to Kakashi, Jiraiya nodded. And judging by the way your headband is placed, I think it's safe to say you have his Sharingan now. Yeah, Naruto nodded sadly. I won, but it was already too late. I have good news, bad news and worse news, Jiraiya spoke again after a moment. The good news is that your old pal Sasuke has killed Orochimaru. Sasuke? Killed Orochimaru? Naruto blinked in shock. Then he's coming back to Konoha, right? That's the bad news, Jiraiya spoke grimly. He's putting together a team of his own and appears to be going after Itachi, directly. That idiot, Naruto gritted out as his fists clenched at his side. I need to go after him. And that's the worst news, Jiraiya continued. Tsunade Heim told me that if I ever contacted you I was to give you orders to send you into hiding. What? You can't just expect me to hide while Sasuke is out in the open and the Akatsuki are hunting me. Naruto yelled. Think about it, Jiraiya shot back. The Akatsuki are after the Kyuubi, and if you remain in Konoha then in all likelihood the Akatsuki will launch a direct attack just like they did in Suna months ago. As Hokage, Tsunade cannot risk the safety of the village over one man no matter what. You of all people should understand her position. Damn it, Naruto gritted out in anger and turned away. Fine, he conceded. I'll have Gamakichi send you back to Earthland, Fukasaku spoke up. You can summon Gamamaru to maintain contact with Konoha. I'm sorry Naruto, Jiraiya said sadly. I know. Earthland. East Forest hillside. At the edge of a cliff, overlooking a large forest and a pair of mountains in the back stood Naruto with the front of his jumpsuit open and waving in the wind. He breathed as his eye closed and he turned his head down to the ground. So you're back, Perliuzuka said from a few feet behind him. I take it something came up. It was a statement more than a question. I've been given orders to hide in this world from my enemies back home, Naruto answered her unasked question. It seems like no matter how hard I try or how strong I get, I still can't do anything. Are you running away? Perliuzuka asked him. I don't run away from my problems, Naruto replied. I face them head on and never give up. But, Perliuzuka trailed off. I couldn't stop my best friend from betraying me and everyone I care about. I couldn't even save Kakashi-sensei, Naruto said as he brought his hand up and pushed his headband out of the way of his left eye. My dream is to become Hokage, but maybe I've really been running away from what I really want. And that is, Perliuzuka inquired. To be free, Naruto snapped his head up at the sky and opened both of his eyes, revealing one ocean blue and the other spinning red. I think you'll fit in well at Fairy Tail. You old fool, Perliuzuka sighed and slapped the green-faced elderly man now lying on the bed. Hey, spoke Alzak Connell in surprise. What are you doing to our master? I mean the patient, Biska Connell added. HMPH, he rushed into things without considering his age and look at him now. Really? Such a fool. Perliuzuka shook her head. How long are you going to stay here? Go home already. She turned and glared at the two fairy tale mages. No. But, we're worried about the master's condition, Alzak reasoned. Please allow us to look after him, Biska added. Go home, Perliuzuka told them. Those worried faces are like rubbing salt in a patient's wounds, and take Naruto with you. You want me to go with them? Naruto asked from the side. You were going to join Fairy Tail anyway, Perliuzuka reasoned. Now is as good a time as any. Besides, this, wind, magic. Metsu, it's a dreadful magic that depletes the target's magic power. Once the magic power is drained, it'll float in the air and eventually disappear. If we could have gathered Makarov's magic power as it was floating around, we could heal him faster. But now it's too late, it'll take a while. Is that so? Alzak stammered in surprise. We'll tell everyone, Biska added. What are you still doing here? Perliuzuka shouted angrily. But we thought you wanted us to hear you out. Biska yelled. Go away already, you humans stink, Perliuzuka shouted as they ran out of the door. Excuse us, Biska yelled back as she pushed her future husband out of the tree house. Good luck, young man, Perliuzuka said over her shoulder. Thanks for everything, Perliuzuka Obakan. Naruto grinned as he followed after the older teenagers and closed the door behind him. You've caused so much trouble since the old days. For mages, magic power is like their source of life. The greater the magic power you possess, the more Metsu hurts. If you don't try your best, you could die from this. You really are a fool. Earthland. Magnolia Fairy Tail Guild. Fairy Tail, respected as one of the most powerful and crazy of magic guilds, was now a battered and nearly destroyed building. After the recent attack by Phantom Lord and the loss experienced when they launched their failed attack on the Phantom Lord Guild itself had all but crushed Fairy Tail's morale. To make matters worse, apparently it was the new guild member Lucy that was the target of Phantom Lord's client. I can't believe we had to retreat. So degrading. We couldn't avenge our guild, nor Levi-chan and the others. Damn it. Their headquarters is here, so if we attack them with long-range magic from the southwest hill. We're bringing as many bomb lacrima as possible. Bring some powerful magic sheets from the storage for the mages. What's up? Still worried? Gray asked upon seeing the blonde girl's face. No, it's not that, it's just. I'm sorry, Lucy apologized with a pained face. Well, daughters from rich families are destined to be targets, Elfman mused. And it's a man's duty to protect them. Don't say such things, Gray said over his shoulder. But I'm surprised too, the talking blue cat called Happy of all things spoke up. Lucy, why were you hiding? I wasn't so much hiding, Lucy denied. But I ran away from home, so I didn't feel like talking about it. He didn't care about the daughter who ran away from home for a year, and now he suddenly wants me back. Papa did this so that he can get me back, he's horrible. Though, all of this happened because I ran away from home in the first place, right? It sounds like your dad's Justin, a new voice spoke up from the side. Who are you? Happy asked as they turned to the newcomer. He was a tall blonde with 6 whisker-like marks on his cheeks and a headband that covered his left eye, and wore a black and orange jumpsuit. My name is Naruto, the blonde boy said. I heard about you, Gray mused. I think Biska and Alzak said something about you wanting to join Fairy Tail. That was the idea, Naruto scratched his head sheepishly. Though, it looks like you're all having your share of problems. Yep, Happy nodded. Quote. Everything will go back to normal if I go home, right? Lucy asked the question. Is that so? Natsu asked. I mean, the term, lady, doesn't really suit you, does it? You fit better in this dirty bar, laughing and merrily going out on adventures. You said you want to stay here. What good would it do for you to return to a place you hate? You're Lucy of Fairy Tail, right? This is your home. She began to tear up at his words. I've got to agree with Perliuzuka Obakan's grandson on this one, Naruto grinned as he thumbed at the pink-haired dragon slayer. Perliuzuka isn't my grandmother, Natsu responded. She isn't, Naruto blinked, but you both have pink hair, and she pointed me to this guild, so I thought you were related. The jury is still out on that one, Happy quipped. Suddenly the ground shook as the sound of a loud thud filled the air. What the hell was that? Naruto asked as he looked around. It's coming from outside, Alzak yelled as again the room shook and an echoing thud sounded. You've got to be kidding me. Naruto trailed off at the sight in front of him. A large guild was walking atop the water and being held up with 6 large metal legs. That guild is walking. Is it Phantom? I never imagined that they'd attack us directly. Urza clenched her fists at her side as the water from her shower ran down her face and exposed shoulders. What should we do? Suddenly the main gates of the attacking guild fortress opened and a large tube expended from it and started gathering purple energy inside it. This is bad. Everybody get down, Urza shouted as she rushed forward. That's a magic conversion cannon. Are they trying to blow our guild away? Everyone get down, Urza shouted again. And Tsunade Obakun thought it was safer for everyone if I stay here. At least this place isn't boring, Naruto thought as he lifted his headband to expose his left eye. Urza, what are you doing? Konso. Kongo no Yoroi. Urza declared as blue and white armor materialized over her body with a pair of white shields. I won't let you take down our guild. Adamantine armor. Don't tell me she's trying to stop that attack, even though the armor is famous for its high defensive power. No Urza, you're going to die if you do that. Get down, Urza yelled at them. Urza, Natsu yelled as Gray held him back. Stop Natsu, we've just got to believe in Urza for now, Gray told him. Suddenly the cannon fired a beam of destructive energy at the Fairy Tail Guild and its defenders. Urza brought both of her shields up in order to better prepare to the oncoming attack, however everyone was surprised when the space in front of her started to distort. Kamui, Naruto whispered though it wasn't heard over the thunderous blast. He had created a large distortion of space and time directly between Urza and the beam, effectively sucking the beam in and dumping it in another dimension, hopefully not injuring anyone on the other side. What just happened? Damn, Naruto grunted and fell to his knee, catching the attention of an equally surprised Urza. Did you just deflect a shot from a magic conversion cannon? Urza asked over her shoulder. It's the first time I've used that jutsu on something that big, Naruto responded as he pushed himself back up onto his feet and removed his hand from his left eye, allowing her to see his Mangekyo Sharingan. I'm still working on aiming it right, especially against moving targets. He was able to deflect a shot from a magic conversion cannon with a single spell, Urza thought as she examined the blonde. He's strong, though I shouldn't be surprised if Perliuzuka has taken an interest in him. But that was clearly an S-rank spell he used. Is he an S-class mage? When this is over I need to talk to him, especially if he wants to join Fairy Tail. Even if you were able to stop a single shot from my Jupiter cannon, a loud voice spoke from the guild fortress. You still don't stand a chance. Hand over Lucy Heartfilia right now. You're out of your mind. Alzak yelled back. Where in the world would you find a guild that offers up a comrade to an enemy? Biska shouted out. Lucy is our comrade, Makoa yelled. That's right. Go away, we won't hand over Lucy. Even though the enemy is attacking their home they still refuse to hand over one of their own, Naruto thought as he watched on. I wonder if the people of Konoha would ever do that for me if the Akatsuki attacked. Hand her over, the voice spoke again. We'd rather die than give up one of our comrades. Urza herself yelled and the rest of the guild roared in agreement. Our answer won't change no matter what. We'll take you down, Natsu shouted. I see, then we'll fire an even bigger and stronger Jupiter. Now struggle in this 15-minute terror until it's reloaded. The voice yelled back. You mean we have a full 15 minutes? Naruto asked with a grin which surprised everyone. That should be more than enough time. What are you talking about? The voice demanded. To kick your ass and save the whole damn guild, Naruto grinned. Listen to me very carefully because I'm only going to say this once. You may think you've got us cornered but you're wrong, because you made one mistake, you underestimated us. You can't stop us, the voice spoke clearly as hundreds of shadow creatures flew out of the guild fortress and shot towards the Fairy Tail Guild. You have two options, be killed by my soldiers or die by Jupiter. Impossible, is he going to kill his own men with Jupiter as well? He's just threatening us. He won't fire it. Yes he will, Kana spoke up. That's Jose's magic Shido. They're not human, They're just ghost soldiers that Jose created. Ghosts. Naruto suppressed his shiver at the thought. He'd always been afraid of ghosts, and though admittedly it had lessened over the years, his fear was still there. We've got to do something about Jupiter. Kana trailed off. I'll go smash it, Natsu declared. 15 minutes, right? Kana silently nodded in reply. Happy. Immediately white wings spread out from the blue cat's back and it grabbed hold of him, lifting him into the air despite the size difference and flying the pair towards the guild fortress. Gray, Elfman, you two head in there too, Urza gave the order. Loki, Kana, you are in charge here until I get back. She got a nod from the pair. What are you going to do? Naruto asked the redhead. You and I are going after Jose himself, Urza replied. Kanso. Tenrin no Yoroi. Light encased her body as her armor changed shape and took the form of silver-plated dress with flower-like wings extending from the back. Can you fly? She asked the blonde at her side. No. But I can run real fast. Naruto grinned and ran forward, jumping off the cliff edge and landing atop the water. Race ya! He yelled and took off running on the water towards the guild fortress. He can walk on water too. What is he? Urza thought before taking to the air and flying off towards the guild fortress after her new partner. Earthland. Magnolia Phantom Lord Guild Fortress. The pair quickly entered the fortress and made their way through its maze-like corridors towards the highest tower where the guild master Jose Porla was waiting. They encountered a small snag, however, when they entered a ballroom, and Urza was forced to fling both herself and Naruto to the side just as a blast of wind cut through the floor where they had stood moments ago. What the hell? Naruto thought as he rolled back to his feet beside Urza. This guy. Urza mused and her face settled into a glare when out of nowhere a large man in a green trench coat and with bandages covering his eyes. He's the guy that drained the master. Urza Scarlet. Huh, how very sad for your neck to be handed to me, the man mocked. You're the bastard who dared to touch the old man, Urza glared. Can you handle this guy? Naruto asked over his shoulder. Give me 5 minutes, Urza replied. If I'm going to be fighting the mighty Urza, the man, Arya spoke. Even I have to take this fight seriously. He removed the bandages over his eyes to reveal pink eyes with white X going through them. Is that a dujutsu? Naruto thought. Come at me, Titania, Arya challenged as the wind started to spiral around him. I have activated the airspace of death, 0. This airspace consumes all life. Magic that consumes life. Urza trailed off as her eyes darkened. Why do you people find it so easy to steal people's lives away? You bastards. Now let us have some fun, Arya smiled as Urza shot towards him. I wonder, can you survive this airspace? That's some pretty strong wind, Naruto thought as he watched on. Should I help her? Does she even need help? You'll pay, Urza whispered as she sliced her way through the wind with her swords. No way. She's slicing up the airspace, Arya thought with wide eyes. Tenrin. Rairin no Ken. Urza exclaimed as she lunged and swung with her swords, cutting clean through him faster than the normal eye could see. She appeared behind him with her back to him as he dropped down onto his back with an echoing thud. She took him down with one blow, Naruto thought in surprise. Her speed was insane, and what is up with that armor of hers? Master could never be defeated by the likes of you, Urza declared as she glared down at Arya's beaten form. That tale will never appear in your saga. All you fairy tale members out there, Jose's voice echoed across the battlefield. We have succeeded in capturing Lucy. You've got to be kidding me, Naruto growled out. Our objective has been accomplished, Jose chuckled, and was soon followed a loud scream of pain from Lucy herself. We have but one single objective remaining, to slaughter the lot of you disgusting brats. Natsu is probably already going after Lucy again, Urza mused. He'll be facing Gajeel Red Fox, the Iron Dragon Slayer of Phantom Lord. I thought Natsu was one of those dragon guys, Naruto asked. He is a fire dragon slayer, Urza replied. We need to keep moving. Jose should be this way. I'm here, Jose declared as he appeared atop the steps at the end of the room. I never honestly expected you to provide me with this much entertainment. About time the main villain shows his ugly face, Naruto grinned and formed a familiar hand seal. Now can I start fighting for real? Earthland. Magnolia Phantom Lord Guild Fortress. Taju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Naruto exclaimed as 100 shadow clones filled the room. Charge! He yelled and the clones rushed at the Phantom Lord Guild Master. Are those physical copies? And so many of them. His magic power must be equal to the Master's, Urza thought as the clones attacked. Annoying little fairies, Jose sneered and extended his arm towards the oncoming clone army. Dedo Vivu. A purple seal formed in front of him and a beam of purple energy lanced out, wiping out the clones in a matter of seconds. Wait, don't just go charging in by yourself. Urza shouted as Naruto himself shot forward. Kamui. Naruto called out as space and time distorted next to Jose's head. That's the spell he used to stop Jupiter, Jose thought as he quickly jumped away to escape the vortex. I've got you now, Naruto yelled as he appeared behind him with a clone at his side and a spinning chakra sphere the size of his chest in hand. He used an S-rank spell as a distraction, Jose thought in surprise. He's strong, Urza thought as she watched on. Udama Rasengan, Naruto exclaimed as he drove the chakra ball into Jose's back. It sent him flying forward through a support pillar and into the wall with a mighty explosion. Got you. Dedo Vivu, Jose roared back in anger as a beam of darkness lanced out from the dust. Damn, Naruto grunted as the beam hit him head-on and blew him into the far wall with an echoing thud and crack. The wall came down a moment later and buried him under the rubble. What an annoying little pest, Jose commented with a sneer. He doesn't even look harmed by Naruto's last attack, Urza thought and narrowed her eyes. I can't worry about Naruto right now, I have to concentrate on Jose or Fairy Tail might be destroyed today. Are you ready to die? Jose asked the red-headed girl. Kanso. Kurha no Yoroi, Urza spoke clearly as black and silver armor materialized over his body. If I'm fighting for those I love, I care not what happens to this body, she declared and lifted her dark purple sword. She shot forward. Such admirable strength of heart, Jose smiled darkly. Yes, you are truly a woman worth killing. Suddenly the room shook and debris started falling around them. Ha 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 ha. That dragon does like to rampage, he commented with a chuckle. Looks like Natsu got underestimated, Urza mused. His power is on a level with mine, or perhaps even stronger still. Quit with the modesty, Titania, Jose sneered. Your magical ability is truly magnificent, in truth. No other mage has lasted so long against us. I just can't stand the thought of another mage of that level could exist in Makarov's guild. He raised his hand and another seal formed. Dedo Vivu. A beam lanced out and struck Urza dead, center in the chest sending her crashing into the wall. Do you understand why it is that I never killed Makarov outright? Despair. It was to shot him despair. How would he feel to open his eyes and find his beloved guild and his beloved comrades all completely destroyed? Ha 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 ha. Such sorrow he would feel. I will kill that man only once I have made him know despair and sorrow. I cannot simply kill him. I must make him suffer, suffer, suffer to the very end. How disgusting. Urza gritted out and jumped to the side to evade another blast. Phantom Lord was always the #1 guild. In this country our magic was unsurpassed, our members' talent was unsurpassed and our funds were unsurpassed. But then, in the space of a few years, Fairy Tail came to power. Urza and Laxus, Mistogen and Gildarts, their names spread as far as my own hometown and rumors of the salamander spread throughout the whole country. Before I knew it, these two guilds, Phantom Lord and Fairy Tail, came to represent this country. I just couldn't stand it, them, who started out as a shitty, pathetically weak little guild. Are you telling me this war is all because of some pathetic little jealousy? Urza demanded as she shot forward and slashed with her sword. Kurha. Gessen. Jealousy. That's not it, Jose denied as he evaded the strike, including the large explosion of energy she released upon its completion. We just wish to make it painfully clear who is truly superior here. For a stupid reason like that, Urza yelled in anger. Dedo Vivu, Jose exclaimed. However, this time instead of a beam of darkness, he grabbed her and restrained her with his ghostly darkness power. Oh, that guild has been getting on my nerves for a long time, but the trigger for this war was a trivial matter. We received a request to recover the young heiress of the Heartfilia Zaibatsu. Lucy, Urza thought in realization, The daughter of one of the wealthiest men in the country had joined Fairy Tail. How great did you have to become before you would be satisfied? If you had free access to the Heartfilia funds, then your power would finally have truly exceeded our own. And that was the one thing I could never forgive, Jose shouted as his darkness squeezed around the redhead. It's pretty damn pathetic of you to get so heated up about who was the best, but what's really shocking is how terrible your information gathering sources are. Urza rasped out. What's that? Jose asked surprised. Lucy ran away from home. Do you think we could use her for money? She lived in a 70,000 jewel rented house. She worked her ass off. Just like all the rest of us. She fought with us, laughed with us, cried with us. She's one of the mages of our guild. You're telling me that was the trigger of this war? Lucy, the heiress of the Heartfilia family. A flower can't choose the place where it blooms, and a child can't choose the parents she's born to. What the hell do you think you know about Lucy? Urza yelled in outrage. Well, I guess I'll find that out, Jose mused. Do you really think I'm going to hand her over to her father for free? Oh, I'm going to keep her until they have no money left. I'm going to get my hands on the entire Heartfilia fortune. Damn you, Urza screamed as the darkness around her contracted once more. I wouldn't struggle if you were you. You'll just make it hurt even more. Jose chuckled and raised his hand again to create his seal. Dedo Vivu. A beam of darkness lanced out and shot at the restrained redhead. No. A blur of red appeared between the two as the beam struck with a mighty explosion. What? Jose's eyes widened as the dust cleared. I heard everything. Someone like you. I hate people like you, Naruto said as the dust cleared, revealing him standing with red chakra spiraling around him and Urza being carried in his arms, bridal style. And Naruto? Urza asked surprised. What is that power he's using? It feels similar to Mirajan and Elfman but worse. Stay back, Naruto told her and set her down behind him. This guy is mine. But, Urza started. Believe in me, and I promise you, I won't lose, Naruto declared. Red chakra exploded from his form, taking the shape of a fox over his form with the 3 swishing tails. What is this feeling? Why is he to make me feel like this? That aura feels dark and full of malice, and yet his words bring warmth to my heart. My soul, Urza thought as she looked up at her blonde savior. I knew you'd come crawling back to me, boy, he heard the Kyuubi say in the back of his mind. Your power cannot protect, it can only destroy. To protect her, I'll even use your power, Naruto declared to the beast within him. Try and take it from me. I dare you, the Kyuubi snarled at him. Fine, Naruto shot forward and disappeared in a burst of speed, reappearing in front of Jose a second later. He slashed with his chakra claws and struck the guild master across his face, sending him crashing back through the wall. I won't let you hurt her, he roared at his opponent. He can really? Urza thought as Jose stood up from the rubble. Naruto, I will believe in you. I have just one thing to ask. Name it, Naruto said. Win, Urza yelled. Kyuubi, Naruto roared as a fourth tail formed on the chakra shroud. His skin was ripped apart as a black sphere formed around him, and with an explosion of fire the chakra condensed to such a degree that Naruto's form couldn't be seen anymore. All that remained was a crimson chakra fox with a black mask, white eyes and 4 swishing tails. By the sage, this burns. Impossible, you're actually conscious. Kyuubi yelled in outrage. And Naruto? Urza asked as she stared at the beast that stood between her and their opponent. A demon. Jose gritted his teeth at the sight. Dedo Vivu, he exclaimed as he unleashed a beam of darkness at the crimson fox. That won't work, Naruto roared back and brought his arms up to defend. The Kyuubi's chakra shot out and created a wall between the two that shrugged off the blast. How about this then? Jose yelled as he appeared beside him and slammed his fist into the side of Naruto's head, knocking him back. Almost instantly the red chakra sprouted from his chest and formed a hand, slashing at Jose only for him to quickly pull back. Damn him. I can't hold this form for much longer, Naruto thought as he felt his body being ripped apart a piece at a time. Enough, Kyuubi said from its cage. Use the Bijudama and end this. I want my power back. What's the Bijudama? Naruto asked it. Do I have to do everything myself? The Kyuubi growled out him. What is he doing? Jose thought as he watched on. Blue and red orbs of chakra exploded from Naruto's body as his chakra tails converged in front of his mouth. The orbs gathered into a single black sphere and then compressed into a smaller sphere. It dropped into Naruto's mouth and he swallowed it, causing him to feel sick and fall to his hands and knees. His stomach felt like it was going to explode and steam started to leak from his mouth. Oh dear, contact with such compressed magical energy could even kill me, Jose thought as he readied to dodge. Amari, Naruto exclaimed as the chakra sphere exploded from his mouth in a beam of crimson light. Must dodge, Jose thought as he narrowly evaded the sphere. However, it grazed his side and exploded past him in a blast of directed light. The fortress shook as the rear end of it was literally blown and vaporized by the blast, leaving a long stretch of destruction through the guild fortress. What inhuman power! See crap. That tastes like throwing up, Naruto grunted as he pushed the Kyuubi's chakra back. 3 chakra tails retracted into the shroud and it slowly returned to its original state with only 1 tail. Naruto's body itself was drenched in his own blood, though his skin seemed to be growing back at an inhuman rate. That power must grant him regenerative abilities, Urza thought as she watched his skin grow back. However, the more power he uses, the greater the damage that power does to his own body. It looks like you're at your limit, Jose gritted out as he clutched his bleeding side. If he had landed a direct hit with that spell, he might have killed me. Damn it, I missed, Naruto grunted in pain as the last of the Kyuubi's chakra left him. This has gone on long enough, a new voice spoke up from the side. Master, Urza asked in surprise and relief. I'll put an end to this, Makarov declared as he appeared in front of both Urza and Naruto. You wish to cause a cataclysm? Jose sneered. If it is necessary for my guild, Makarov responded. Urza, take your new partner and leave now. I will take it from here. Understood, master, Urza nodded and grabbed Naruto's arm. Come on. We can't just leave the old man here alone, Naruto said. If we stay here, we will just be a burden to master, Urza responded. We should leave everything to him. Damn, Naruto winced and moved his headband back into place so it covered his Sharingan. Urza hoisted his right arm over her shoulder and supported him as they made their escape. It has been 6 long years since we last stood face to face like this, Jose chuckled. Who would have imagined that Fairy Tail could become a guild in that space of time? Ha 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 ha. It's just a pile of rubble now, mind. A guild is not a physical building, Makarov declared. It is the sum of its members. Still, this does make me very happy, for 2 of the 10 wizard saints to be able to contest like this, to determine whom is superior, Jose laughed. Those youngsters will go far, Makarov proclaimed as he started charging magic to his hands. They've done well. They take pride in being part of Fairy Tail. Dedo Vivu, Jose exclaimed as he unleashed a beam of darkness at Old Mage in front of him. Kyojin no Gekirin, Makarov countered as a seal formed in front of him and a beam of light shot out, intercepting Jose's attack and beginning a battle of attrition. What the hell is with this thunderstorm? Naruto asked upon seeing the sky darken and lightning strike down around them randomly. That's because the master is fighting without holding back, Urza replied as the 2 stopped at the edge of the balcony overlooking the water. It's only a matter of time before master uses that spell. What jutsu are you talking about? Naruto asked her. A spell master knows that is only used as a deterrent to war, Urza answered. Fairly impressive, Makarov commented. So much power at such a young age, you have at least earned your place among the 10 wizard saints. Had you chosen to use the power for good, and become a model for those still younger than yourself, the world of mages would surely have benefited greatly. Old man, are you preaching to me? Jose sneered. As is the custom of Fairy Tail's justice system, Makarov began. I shall give you the count of 3, kneel, he ordered. Jose mocked. 1, Makarov started. I was wondering what nonsense you would spout, but telling me to kneel. Jose sneered. 2, Makarov continued. You want me to kneel before you, to acknowledge you as the greatest in the kingdom. Stop fooling around. In combat I am your match. Nay, more than that. I am stronger. 3, Makarov finished and charged pure light energy to his hands. You are the ones who should be kneeling before me. Now die. crumble to dust and vanish from the face of history. Fairy tale. Jose yelled in outrage. Dedo vivu. That's enough, Makarov said clearly. Yosei no Horitsu. Fairy law. The world was claimed by light. Holy shit, Naruto yelled as he covered his eye. What's that light? That's Master's spell, Urza replied as she too covered her eyes. It's Yosei no Horitsu, a holy light cleansing spell which destroys evil. The mage who invokes this spell can selectively choose their targets. This is his ultimate magic, widely recognized as one of the handful of fable spells. Just as suddenly as it appeared, the light died down a few seconds later. So, does that mean we won? Naruto asked. Yes, we've won. We should be getting back. Let's go home, Urza sighed as she looked out at the direction where Fairy Tail was. Or at least where it used to be. Earthland. Magnolia Fairy Tail Guild. The building that housed Fairy Tail had been completely destroyed and reduced to nothing but rubble. Man, I had planned on some renovations, but this is a bit much. Makarov sighed at the sight. Master, Lucy asked nervous. Looks like they put you through the ringer as well, Makarov mused. Turn that frown upside down, Lulu-chan, a bandaged Levi said with a smile. We started out as a team and we came out victorious as a team. Truth be told, the guild's new look is growing on me, Droy added. Yeah, a few minor touches and it'll be good as new, Jet agreed. Yup, Ritus nodded. Levi-chan, Ritus, Jet, Droy, Lucy cried. Don't sweat it, okay. Levi smiled back. No, I should be, Lucy started. Everyone here knows the score, Levi cut in. There's no need to beat yourself up over it. It's all good, Lulu-chan. I was completely useless. Please forgive my ineptitude, Jet bowed his head in shame. Lucy, every time you laugh, every time you grieve, pieces of those moments become ours as well, Makarov spoke up. That's what it means to be a member of our guild. When a member is on cloud 9, we all float. When a member is outraged, we all clench our teeth. When a member weeps, we all wipe our eyes. So you have no reason to be riddled with guilt, because no one here holds you responsible, and why would they? You are, after all, a member of our family, a member of Fairy Tail. He sent her a smile, and that seemed to what broke the dam, because Lucy fell to her knees and openly cried in both happiness and relief. Today wasn't so bad after all, Naruto thought with a smile. Naruto sighed as he placed his hammer down and looked over his work. A week had passed since the war with Phantom Lord and he had been helping out with the rebuilding of Fairy Tail. Even now his clones were carrying lumber and bricks from one place to another. The others were helping out too, but even with everyone working hard, it would still take at least another week to completely rebuild the guild. The day after the war ended, a legion of Rune Knights, the Mage Council's army, had rounded them up and questioned them on what happened. After everything was said and done, they were told that the council would decide the fate of Fairy Tail. As for Naruto, he had mostly settled in as a member of Fairy Tail, and it seemed like the others in the guild had accepted him, especially after his actions in the war against Phantom Lord. As he continued his work on the rebuilding of the guild, he couldn't help but remember his talk with Urza the day after the war ended. Flashback no jutsu begin. Who are you? Urza questioned. The name is Uzumaki Naruto, the next Hokage, Naruto grinned back. Please, hold the applause. What kind of mage are you? Those abilities you displayed didn't feel like any magic I've ever seen before, Urza questioned further. You could manipulate pure energy and control space and time to a certain degree. And then there is that demonic aura you unleashed. I'm not a mage, Naruto replied. I'm a ninja. A ninja? Urza asked with narrowed eyes. As in the Assassins of Legend. Yeah, it came out as question. He'd never really checked to see if this world had ninja or not, but clearly it must have at one time. Though judging by Urza's words, the ninja of this world must have died out long ago if they were referred to as nothing more than legends now. What kind of ninja wears orange? Urza asked, incredulous look. The super awesome ones, Naruto grinned back. You shouldn't underestimate me. Yes, I saw what happened when Jose did so, Urza commented knowingly. What was that demonic aura you wielded? It felt different from Lullaby and Deloria. There are demons here, Naruto asked back surprised. Truthfully, he had never heard of any demons other than the Biju back in his world, so he hadn't thought that there were other demons in this one. Of course, Urza nodded. And you didn't answer my question. It's not something I like to talk about, Naruto replied truthfully. Fine, Urza conceded, but I will make one thing clear right now. If you do anything to harm my comrades, then I will deal with you myself, understand? Why yeah, Naruto cursed himself for stuttering. This woman was scary as hell, and he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief as she turned and walked away. As he watched her go, he let a smile spread across his lips as her hips swayed from side to side. After a moment of staring, he shook himself and turned away with his face red. What am I doing? Flashback no jutsu end. I like Sakura-chan, he had told himself again. I barely know Urza-chan. Those two are at it again. Miragen smiled, snapping him out of his thoughts when she saw both Natsu and Gray descend into another one of their infamous arguments. They remind me of two fangirls I used to know, Naruto commented. Did they fight all the time too? Miragen asked him. Yup, Naruto nodded. And always over a boy who wouldn't give them the time of day. Hey, a familiar loud voice yelled from the side. If you've got time to play around, hurry up and help. Urza shouted at them as she stood wearing her builder's clothes and carrying a dozen blanks of wood on her shoulder. We've got to fix the guild as soon as possible. Even the master is helping, Miragen added, still smiling as Makarov, now a giant many times the size of a normal man, slotted a wooden beam into place. Just another crazy day in Fairy Tail, Naruto grinned. Everyone get back to work, Urza yelled. I wouldn't have it any other way, Naruto sighed again. What about your friends, back in that village of yours? Kyuubi sneered at the back of his mind. I don't know, Naruto thought sadly. They'll never accept you as one of them, Kyuubi said mockingly. You're just a weapon to them. They see you as me. They even sent you here. They abandoned you because they didn't want to risk their own lives to keep you safe. Shut up, Naruto shot back. The truth hurts, doesn't it? Kyuubi taunted. You've always used me as a crutch, used my power to fight your battles for you. Face it, you're nothing more than a mere fragment of my hatred. I said shut up, Naruto yelled in thought. I don't care what you say. So what if the people of Konoha see you whenever they look at me? I don't care anymore. I love Konoha itself, not the village or the people, but what it represents, the will of fire. Who are you trying to convince? Kyuubi mocked. Me, or yourself? Are you okay, Naruto-kun? Miragen asked, snapping him out of his thoughts. Why yeah, Naruto nodded. I'm fine, he reassured, but Miragen couldn't help but frown as he turned away and continued his work. The next day Lucy had gone back home to confront her father, and after finding out she was gone, Natsu, Gray and Urza went after her. They returned the day after they returned to the now half-finished guild. Everyone, from today onwards we can receive job requests again, Miragen declared from behind the counter. Though this took a long time, everyone should work hard at their jobs. We have jobs. We have jobs, a random member yelled as they all scrambled over to the job board. Why are they so excited? Usually they just fool around and drink, Lucy sighed and shook her head at the sight. I should probably do a mission too, Naruto mused. I need new clothes and a place to live. My jumpsuit is pretty worn out and sleeping in the forest just isn't the same as a real bed. Maybe you should partner with someone and do a mission together, Miragen suggested. Maybe Loki, if he's available. Speaking of which, Loki isn't here, Lucy spoke up. Did you fall into Loki's hands as well? Miragen asked. No, Lucy denied. It seems he helped me find my keys, so I want to tell him, thanks. If I see him I'll pass along your message, Miragen offered. Don't talk about that, you lost the keys. Are the spirits angry? That, already, isn't just at the level of angry, just thinking about makes my butt hurt, Lucy groaned as she placed her head on the counter. Do you need me to cool it? Gray inquired. Don't pretend to be a gentleman, Lucy said as she turned away. That's sexual harassment. Lucy, let me see your red butt, Happy requested. That's obvious sexual harassment, Lucy shot back. If I make her butt hurt more, I wonder what expression Lucy will have, Natsu mused. Are you a devil? Lucy asked in outrage, only for a table to be flung from the side and knock the fire dragon slayer to the ground. You dare say that again, Urza said dangerously as she glared at a big blonde man that sat in front of her. Urza, Lucy muttered in surprise. Then I'll say it more clearly, the blonde man sneered. This guild doesn't need weak bastards. You bastard, Urza said as her glare darkened. To be looked down on by a guild such as Phantom Lord, how embarrassing. I couldn't face anyone, the blonde man continued. Laxus is back, Happy spoke up. That bastard mouths off as soon as he comes back, Gray gritted his teeth at the sight. S-class Laxus, Lucy asked. I'm talking about you, Laxus said as he pointed over at Team Shadow Gear. I heard that you guys were beaten up by that Iron Dragon Slayer, speaking of which, what are your names? Who are you guys? You're a disgrace. And don't even get me started on the princess who caused this mess. Shut your mouth, Naruto growled out, catching his attention. What did you say? Laxus asked as he turned and leveled a mocking stare at the young Jinchuriki. I hear you running your mouth off about all the bad things that have happened, but let's get one thing straight, Naruto glared back. You weren't even here for the fight, so you don't have any right to place the blame on others. Don't you know who I am? Laxus sneered. I don't give a shit who you are, Naruto shot back. Nobody insults my friends and gets away with it, especially not some coward who couldn't even be bothered to show up to fight for his own comrades. Naruto, Urza muttered as she watched on. You talk big, Laxus chuckled darkly and turned away. When I inherit the guild, you'll be the first to go along with the rest of the weaklings. I will build the strongest guild, a guild that nobody will look down on, history's strongest guild. He laughed as he walked away. What the hell is his problem? Naruto asked once he was gone. And what did he mean by, inherit the guild? Lucy asked further. What nonsense was he talking about? It's not really nonsense, Mirajan sighed. Because Laxus is the master's flesh and blood grandson. Seriously? Lucy asked in surprise. The old man. Damn, Naruto grunted and turned back to the counter. So if the master retires, the probability of the next master being Laxus is very high, Mirajan explained. Someone who looks down on others and abandons their comrades doesn't deserve to be in charge of Fairy Tail, Naruto declared. That's why there's a rumor saying that the master can't retire because of that, Mirajan continued. Is he waiting for someone else to take his place? Lucy asked, curious. It's just a rumor, Mirajan shrugged. In reality, the master hasn't said a word about anything concerning a successor. Sounds like old man Sandaime back in Konoha, Naruto thought. And look how that turned out. That bastard, Natsu growled out. Forget it, Urza told him. It'll be very troublesome if you have relations with that guy. How about this? Want to take up a job? Huh, Natsu asked, surprised. Of course, Gray and Lucy should come too, Urza added. Ever since the Eisenwald incident, we keep gathering together. We're like a little team, aren't we? We four, if we add Happy then that makes 5. I really need to start going on missions again, Naruto sighed and turned away. Retire. Huh, the guild building has been changed to a new one, Makarov mused as he took a drink of the glass in his hand. If that's the case, the master should be new too. Laxus, his way of thinking is a serious problem. Laxus is not possible, Mistogen perhaps, he's reclusive so, no. If that's the case then young Urza is the best choice, but she is, too young, maybe in a few years. And then there is that young Naruto boy that Perliasika sent to us, he's too inexperienced though, even if he does have the power to rival me. His mind drifted back to the meeting he had with the young man the day after the war ended. Flashback no jutsu begin, so Perliasika sent you here. Judging by what I saw, you don't seem like a bad kid, Makarov commented. You helped protect the guild and even fought Jose with Urza. I didn't do much, Naruto sighed. All I did was stop that blast they used to attack the guild and fight that Jose guy. I didn't even win. Quote. You should be proud of that, Makarov told him. Had you not been there, Urza would have most likely been crippled if not killed outright by that Jupiter cannon, and Jose would have had free rein to do more damage before I could stop him myself. Your determination and sheer dumb luck were nothing to snuff at. If you say so, Naruto shrugged. Anyway, can I join Fairy Tail? Of course, Makarov smiled widely. Mira, could you please go and retrieve the fairy tale stamp? Yes, master. Mirajan nodded and walked over to one of the counters. Here it is, she said as she walked back with the stamp in hand. Where would you like it? She asked with a bright smile. On the back of my hand, Naruto answered as he held out his left hand. There you go, Mirajan said as she brought the stamp down on the back of his outstretched hand, imprinting the symbol of fairy tale on it like a tattoo. Welcome to Fairy Tale, Makarov finished. Flashback no jutsu end. Master, Mirajan spoke from below. So you were hiding here. What is it? Makarov asked her. Looks like something happened again. Mirajan smiled as she held up a piece of paper. It seems Urza and the gang destroyed half a stretch of road doing their job. The council requests that we compensate for the damages done. Master, what's wrong? How can I retire like this? Makarov yelled to the darkened sky. Earthland. East Forest Perliasika's house. This seems to be becoming a regular occurrence, Perliasika commented as she placed a wet towel on the head of a black-haired man lying unconscious on the bed in front of her. Like with the blonde young man, Naruto, a month earlier, she had sensed another disturbance reminiscent of Anima nearby and had checked it. What she found was this black-haired man whom had been bleeding from his mouth and looked like he had been in a fight for his life. Not only that, but upon investigation she had discovered that he was suffering from an unusual illness originating from his eyes, which was strange in itself since he appeared to be blind. She had brought him in and using her vast knowledge was able to effectively cure the unnamed disease. After she was finished, she created a pair of artificial eyes to allow the man to see again based off of the ones he already had. His original eyes seemed to be almost identical to the ones she had transplanted into Naruto, and though these ones seemed normal and appeared to have worked for a time before going blind. Hopefully he would regain consciousness soon. Where am I? His harsh and clearly exhausted voice caught her by surprise. My home, Perliasika replied as she backed away slowly. Water, the man groaned as he slowly sat up with his back against the window. Drink this, Perliasika said as she pushed a glass of water into his hand. It will make you feel better. Thank you, the man said and gulped down the liquid. I seem to be making a habit of this, Perliasika commented. You are the second person to be transported within 2 miles of my home. I'm not dead, am I? The man inquired. Most certainly not, Perliasika replied. You said I was the second, who was the first? The man questioned further. A young man with blonde hair, Perliasika answered. Naruto Uzumaki, the man said after a moment. Yes, Perliasika confirmed and narrowed her eyes. What is your name? My name. The man chuckled almost amused and looked up as his Mangekyo Sharingan spun wildly. My name is Itachi Uchiha. The following days saw the greatest disaster theater performance ever when Urza, Lucy, Gray and Natsu became actors. Let's just say it was an earth-shattering performance and leave it at that, moving on. The next few days saw Lucy running round and trying to find out what was wrong with Loki. That turned out to be a strange tale. So you're a spirit? Natsu asked skeptically. Yeah, that's pretty much it, Loki chuckled sheepishly. I never noticed, Gray commented. What's a spirit? Naruto asked. I'm a celestial mage, Lucy explained. We can summon a variety of spirits to aid us from another dimension. Sounds like my Kuchio's no jutsu, Naruto mused. You can summon too? Lucy asked surprised. Only toads, Naruto replied with a shrug. The biggest ones are the size of one of those buildings downtown. Fight me, Natsu said as he pointed his finger at the blonde Jinchuriki. Maybe later, Naruto waved him off. Ever since he'd shown up, Natsu had been challenging to fights, but Urza usually stepped in and stopped it. She had all but forbidden them from fighting, saying something like, comrades shouldn't hurt each other, or something like that. Hey, wait a minute, Natsu spoke quickly. You're not a cow or a horse or anything like that, he said as he turned to the only spirit in the group. Well, you've seen Virgo before, Loki responded. She looks like a human, right? No. She turns into a gorilla, Natsu replied. That's true enough, Loki chuckled at that. Loki is the lion spirit, Lucy spoke up. Matabi-chan would burn his ass, the Kyuubi spoke from the back of his mind. Who? Naruto asked thought before he shook his head. Lion, Happy exclaimed. A lion means a grown-up cat, doesn't it? That's right, Loki nodded with a smile. No it's not, Lucy denied from the counter. That's so cool, Happy cheered. Anyway, is it okay for you to just carry on as you've been doing up until now? Gray asked the question. I'm afraid those days are long over, now that Lucy is my owner. When Lucy is in trouble, I'll gallantly shut up. After all, I am her knight in shining armor. Speaking of which, let's go talk about our plans for the future. Loki spoke with a smile as he picked Lucy up and started carrying her away. Just another day in Fairy Tail, Naruto grinned at the sight. She's so lucky, Natsu sighed. I want a spirit too. What kind of spirit? Happy asked curiously. A dragon of course, Natsu answered immediately. I've finally learned Dragon Slayer magic, but if I can't try it out on a real dragon it's a total waste. You can't just summon spirits so you can have some sort of free-for-all, Lucy said with a sigh. That's right, Loki nodded with a grin. You summon them for their declarations of love. You can leave now too, Lucy told him, sweat dropping at his remark. Just then a rather unusual silence filled the room, causing the group to look around and notice their guildmates staring at the main doorway. Why has it all gone quiet? Loki asked the question. Hello, Naruto-kun, a familiar male voice spoke from the doorway. It can't be, Naruto thought as he snapped his gaze towards the newcomer. His hair was black and he wore a plain black cloak, but Naruto recognized him instantly. You know this guy? Gray asked with a frown. Itachi Uchiha, Naruto said with nothing but disgust. So the Akatsuki finally found out where I am. Despite what you may believe, I did not know where you were after your battle with Kakuzu, Itachi responded. And judging by the way your Hittite is placed, covering your left eye, I assume Kakashi has perished and given you his Sharingan. A wise choice to be sure. His Sharingan activated as his eyes turned red. Don't look into his eyes, Naruto yelled to the rest of Fairy Tail. Naruto, who is this guy? Urza asked as she appeared at his side. Those eyes he has are the same as Naruto's left eye, are they related? He's one of my enemies, Naruto replied. Whatever you do, don't look into his eyes or at his hands. He can trap you in an illusion and beat you in a one move. Then how do we fight him? Urza questioned further. I'll take him down, Natsu yelled and shot forward with his body ablaze in orange fire. Wait, Natsu, Naruto yelled after him. Your power is impressive, Itachi commented as he locked eyes with the attacking Dragon Slayer. But your strength is useless here. A second later Natsu dropped to the floor and lay unconscious beside the Uchiha. Itachi, Naruto yelled as he charged and uncovered his Sharingan. Naruto closed in and threw out a punch which Itachi deflected and pulled back as he traded blows with the blonde. Once outside the guild, Itachi suddenly grabbed Naruto's arm and locked them both into place, staring into each other's eyes. I'm going to kill you and avenge my sensei. This one is a shadow clone. Itachi narrowed his eyes and tried to pull away, but Naruto grabbed his arm, stopping him from escaping. This seems familiar, he thought as the real Naruto and his clone appeared from the side with a chest-sized chakra sphere in hand. Udama Rasengan, Naruto exclaimed as he and his clone slammed the enlarged spinning chakra ball into the Uchiha's chest. Bunshin Daibakua, Itachi whispered and exploded a second later. Naruto skidded away from the blast and came to a halt at the edge of the water along the shoreline. That was close, he thought as he looked around for the elusive Uchiha. If my Sharingan didn't see the chakra buildup in Itachi's clone, then he would have taken me out right then and there. I do not wish to fight you, Naruto-kun, Itachi spoke as the smoke cleared, revealing his unharmed form. But you are not leaving me any other choice. Master, why aren't we helping Naruto? A recovered Natsu asked. Patience, Natsu, Makarov told her as they watched on. This is Naruto's fight, we have no right to interfere. But, Natsu started. From his words it would seem that Naruto has faced this man in battle before, Urza cut in. And I saw what Naruto did during the battle with Jose. If this man has fought Naruto and survived, then this is clearly a battle between two S-rank fighters. Then why don't we help him? Natsu asked again. Because he needs this, Makarov replied simply. Ever since the war with Phantom Lord, that boy has been heading down a dark path. What do you mean, Master? Urza asked, confused. In the fight against Jose, Naruto used that crimson magic power to fight, correct? Makarov mused. According to Perlyuzuka, that power he used is not really his but is actually from a demon he has imprisoned. Not only that, but his left eye is a tool that was given to him by his now deceased master that allows him to control that demonic power. He believes that he has been using the strength of others to fight his battles for him instead of relying on his own strength. He thinks he is weak. Natsu asked, incredulous. Yes, Makarov nodded. You fool, Urza thought as she turned her attention back to the fight. It doesn't matter where your power comes from, as long as you use it for the right reasons and don't let it corrupt you, then you shouldn't care if it's someone else's power. I will not fall for the same trick twice, Naruto-kun, Itachi said clearly. I won't let the Akatsuki take the Kyuubi from me, Naruto shot back. I have no interest in collecting the Biju, Itachi responded. They no longer matter to me now that my goal has been fulfilled. What are you talking about? Naruto questioned. Before I woke up in this world, Itachi began. I fought Sasuke. Sasuke. Naruto trailed off. Our battle was long and gruesome, but eventually my illness caught up with me and I fell unconscious. I awoke later in this world near the forest east of here, Itachi explained. The East Forest. That's where Kakashi-sensei and I dropped into this world. Did Kakashi-sensei's Kamui open a hole between dimensions or something? Naruto thought. Enough playing around, Itachi declared as a black three-point wheel formed in his eyes, awakening his Mangekyo Sharingan. Amaterasu, he whispered, and black flames shot out at the blonde Jinchuriki. Kamui, Naruto exclaimed as the space in front of him distorted and black flames into the spinning vortex. He deflected Amaterasu with some kind of Jikuken jutsu. Interesting, Itachi mused as the last of the black flames disappeared along with the vortex. What is with this guy? I mean, I knew he was strong, but fucking hell, Naruto thought as he made a hand seal. Taju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. A moment later 2,000 shadow clones popped into existence around them, creating an almost endless sea of black and orange. That is a lot of shadow clones. Itachi narrowed his eyes and he looked around at the clone army before him. He rapidly formed a series of hand seals and started spewing small red fireballs from his mouth as he spun round. Kaden. Hosenka no Jutsu. Charge. Naruto yelled as the clones attacked from all sides. There is too many of them, Itachi thought as his Sharingan spun wildly. Bunshin Daibakua. The clones closest to him suddenly exploded, though Itachi narrowly escaped the blast and skidded to a halt atop the ocean water. He copied my jutsu from earlier, Itachi mused as the clones attacked him again from all sides. He quickly jumped into the air and formed another series of hand seals. Kaden. Gukaku no Jutsu. He exclaimed as he belched out a large fireball downwards at the cluster of shadow clones, wiping them out. This isn't working, he thought as he landed and stood atop the water. Itachi. Naruto yelled as he descended upon the elusive Uchiha with a familiar chakra sphere in hand. He has gotten better, Itachi thought as he quickly formed a set of hand seals. Chidori, he whispered as his left hand was encased in lightning. When I copied this jutsu from Sasuke 3 years ago, I never thought I would use it like this. Rasengan. Naruto exclaimed as he brought his hand down and the two powerful attacks clashed. Silence. The water rippled as the two techniques fought for dominance until finally, with an echoing explosion, the two were blown away from each other. They slid to a stop atop the water and stood up, staring at each other and panting. You really have grown, Naruto-kun, Itachi commented and breathed. But sadly this ends here. Tsukuyomi. Damn it, we have to help him. Natsu yelled. If you were fighting Igneel, would you want one of us to interfere? Gray asked him. That's different, Natsu replied in a quieter tone. No it isn't, Gray said back. It's the same with me when I fought Leon back on Galuna Island. Suddenly a red column of light shot up from Naruto's position and a massive shockwave washed over them. What the hell? Natsu exclaimed in surprise. This feeling, it's the same as before, Urza thought as the light died down. What is that? Lucy stammered when they all finally spotted their blonde friend again. His body was encased in a dense crimson chakra which radiated malice and hatred. White bones had formed over the chakra in the shape of skeleton, though what caught Urza's attention was the number of tail he had. There were 6. It's like my Satan Soru, Mirajan commented. A different form of Tiku Oba magic. He has 6 tails. He only had 4 when we fought Jose, and he looks different too. Those bones weren't there before, Urza spoke up. It seems the Kyuubi reacted to Tsukuyomi and forced Naruto-kun to release its power. So this is the power of the Kyuubi compressed into human form, Itachi thought as he gazed upon the crimson chakra fox that roared at him. It burns. Naruto bit back a scream as he fell to his knees. He's still conscious. His control is amazing, however that form must carry with it considerable risk, Itachi mused. Kyuubi, what did you do? Answer me, Kyuubi. Naruto yelled at the demon within him, but he received no reply. Don't tell me that Itachi's genjutsu caught you instead of me. Even with the power of the Kyuubi, you cannot win, Itachi said clearly. We'll see about that, Naruto growled back. If the Kyuubi is trapped in a genjutsu, then I really am fighting alone this time, he thought as he pushed himself upright and started gathering blue and red chakra spheres at his mouth. What is he doing? Itachi narrowed his eyes at the sight. Compress the chakra. Consume it, Naruto mused as he swallowed the black sphere of chakra. And release, he took aim and belched out the chakra ball at the Uchiha. Amari. The density of that chakra, even I cannot survive a direct hit from such a jutsu. It seems that I have no choice but use that jutsu, Itachi thought as the projectile closed in. Susanoo. The chakra sphere exploded forwards, and washed over the ocean surface, sending ripples of water everywhere. What was that? Lucy asked with wide eyes as the blast died down. He called it the Amari, Urza answered. He used it in the fight against Jose and blew out the rear of Phantom Lord's walking guild. He's more destructive than Natsu. Happy quipped. I didn't think it was possible, Gray responded. Hey, Natsu yelled indignant. Nevertheless, the situation is more serious than you realize, Makarov spoke up. How so, Master? Urza inquired. Take a look for yourself. Makarov nodded towards the ocean where the mist was starting to clear. Impossible, Gray said in disbelief as the two combatants came into view once more. No way, Lucy stared with wide eyes. He survived that, Natsu asked surprised. Even Jose recognized the danger of Naruto's attack and he dodged it, Urza thought as she watched on. This man took that attack head on, so how did he survive? What is that? Lucy asked as she saw a red aura encasing Itachi's body. It stood over him with 3 hands with a large spirit sword, shield and a jar in each one. The shield was lowered down and was covering Itachi himself while the sword and jar were down at his side. It looked vaguely humanoid in shape and the blade seemed like it was on fire. Whatever it is, I think this fight just went to a whole other level, Gray reasoned. Man, those two are really going at it, Kana commented. Master, Natsu groaned. Not yet, Natsu, Makarov responded. To have pushed me this far, Naruto-kun, is no small feat, Itachi said clearly. Your control over the Kyuubi is amazing, astounding, and your last attack even managed to crack my Susanoo's Yata no Kagami. Just, what the fuck are you? Naruto growled out as he forced the Kyuubi's chakra back until only one tail remained. His skin grew back as he collapsed to his knees and bit back another scream of pain. You should be honored, Itachi told him. Not many have seen this form and lived to tell about it. This is Susanoo, the third and final ability granted by the Mangekyo Sharingan. Unlike Madara Uchiha before me, my Susanoo wields the Totsuka no Tsurugi and the Yata no Kagami. With these two tools, it is called Yubu no Aragami and said to be invincible. I've never believed in an invincible enemy. Naruto's voice returned to normal as the last of the Kyuubi's chakra left him. Then face me now, Itachi challenged. If you have anything left, then I suggest you use it. You got it. Naruto nodded and rose to his feet once again. This guy is a real fucking monster. If this doesn't finish it, then I don't know what will, he thought as he formed a familiar hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, he said as clones popped into existence at his side and started channeling chakra into his hand. Now what is he doing? Itachi thought as a bell-like screech echoed through the air. What is that jutsu? Is that what he used to defeat Kakuzu? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Lucy asked as she covered her ears. How is he still fighting after all of that? Gray muttered. He reduced the amount of demonic power he was using while pushing its regenerative abilities to their limits in order to restore his body to fighting condition, Urza replied. Though I have to admit, I have never seen him use that spell before today. Perliuzica told me about it, Makarov explained. She said that when she found him, his right arm was gravely injured and said that he had used a powerful wind spell to do the same kind of damage to his enemy. She told him not to use it again because it was dangerous to its user, even more so than that demonic power he has. Then shouldn't we stop this? Natsu asked the question. No, Elfman was the one who answered. This is his choice as a man, he knows the risks and has made his own decision. I'll end it with this. Naruto yelled as he and his clones charged at the large red spirit wind god. Nothing can penetrate the Yata no Kagami, Itachi said clearly as he swung with the Totsuka no Tsurugi and struck down the two clones. Futon. Rasenshuriken, Naruto exclaimed as he slammed the spinning chakra shuriken into the spiritual shield. It slashed and cut into it until finally with the resounding echo of shattering glass, the Yata no Kagami broke apart. Even with my Sharingan I can't keep count of the number of wind blades that Jutsu has, Itachi thought as he pulled back and threw himself out of Susanoo just as it was consumed in a large spinning ball of wind and power, shredding it to pieces. A jutsu capable to penetrating even Susanoo. Even Sasuke didn't have that kind of a jutsu at his disposal. Damn it, Naruto grunted as he fell to the ground a few feet away and the wind ball exploded, sending water cascading everywhere. My arm, he winced in pain as he clutched his bleeding right arm with his left. Impressive Naruto-kun. Most impressive, Itachi praised as he steadied his breathing. I think we're both at our limit. You cannot use the Kyuubi's chakra anymore, your right arm is badly hurt and now you can't make hand seals for jutsu. I still have my other arm. Naruto yelled as he lifted his left hand and channeled chakra into the palm to creating a familiar spinning blue chakra sphere. That jutsu again. Itachi thought as he quickly formed a series of hand seal and channeled the last of his chakra into his right hand, encasing it in sparklingly blue electricity. The two ran at each atop the water and threw out their respective jutsu. Rasengan, Chidori, Kori no Zoke Maho, Kurizun. Gray called out as twin cages of ice formed around the two battling ninja. Even so, the jutsu the two had used punched clean through the side of the ice cages. Are you both finished? Makarov questioned as he stood atop Naruto's floating ice prison. Master, Naruto asked. I think that's quite enough Naruto, Makarov told him before looking towards the other ice cage. I'm sure there is quite the story behind this. HN, Itachi nodded as he examined his icy prison. I trust that there won't be any more fights like this, will there? Makarov phrased it like a question but both knew that it was anything but. I will not continue to fight, Itachi answered after a moment of silence. You've got a lot to answer for, Itachi, Naruto said with a glare. I was speaking the truth before, Naruto-kun, Itachi began as he lay in one of the guild's infirmary beds. I died in battle against Sasuke and then woke up here, in this world. So Sasuke finally kicked your ass, Naruto chuckled lightly as his right arm clung to his side in a cast. Yes, Itachi nodded slowly. I imagine he is on his way back to Konoha right now in order to re-establish the Uchiha clan. After everything you've done, Naruto said as he clenched his left fist in barely suppressed anger. You tortured Sasuke, came after me and killed Gaara. I can't forgive you for any of that even if Gaara was resurrected by Chiyo-Obaken. I do not expect you to, Itachi responded. But either way my goal is completed. Now all that remains, is for me to die. Well too bad, Naruto shot back. Because you're going to live with what you've done for the rest of your natural life. We can offer you a place in Fairy Tail, Makarov spoke up from one of the nearby beds. Are you kidding, old man? Naruto asked the aged guild master. This guy wiped out almost his whole family in one night and tortured his own brother. All the more reason to have him as an ally instead of an enemy, Makarov replied. Welcome to Fairy Tail, Itachi Uchiha. Earthland. Magnolia Marketplace. Why are we doing this again? Naruto asked as Mirajan dragged him through the busy street. You needed new clothes and a sense of fashion, Mira replied surprisingly blunt. That's harsh, Naruto pouted as she pulled him into a store. But why did you volunteer to help me? I wanted to ask you something, Mira said quietly as she dragged him towards the men's section. It's about that fight the other day when you used that demonic power of yours. What about it? Naruto asked guarded. He never did like talking about the Kyuubi to others, which was natural considering how much trouble it had caused him during his childhood. 2 years ago my siblings and I fought a monster. My brother tried to take it over and he succeeded, mostly. He lost himself to the beast within and Mira trailed off sadly. He hurt someone, Naruto finished knowingly. Our little sister, Mira confirmed. I wanted to ask you if that had ever happened to you. Yeah, Naruto nodded as he remembered his battle against Orochimaru of the Sannin months ago. It was just a few months ago actually. We were on a mission to capture an enemy spy when, well, I guess you would call him a monster, showed up. I fought him and used the Kyuubi's power, but I lost control when I unleashed 4 tails and I was knocked out. I don't remember the battle or what happened to the bastard I was fighting. When I woke up my squad's leader told me that I injured our other teammate and I had pretty much torn apart the battlefield. Then you know how dangerous that power of yours is? Mira asked him. I saw the aftermath, Naruto replied. I just want to protect those precious to me no matter how much pain it causes me. Neither of them said anything after that and instead just started picking out different clothes for Naruto to try on. By the end of it Naruto was wearing a black, high-collared jacket with a zipper and over that was another jacket. This one was unzipped and white, with several black block designs and a gray hem on the end of each sleeve. This jacket's collar was red and pleated and folded back. He also wore 2 colored pants. The legs of his pants were beige with several of what looked like buttons on the hem that appeared to attach the legs to the rest of the cloth, which were dark colored. His shoes were colored in shades of gray and black, and had red straps in place of laces. Finally, he wore a wristband with a black and white checkerboard pattern on his left wrist. Why is there no orange? Naruto asked after they were done. Trust me when I say you look a lot better in that, Mira smiled back. But I like orange, Earthland, Magnolia outskirts. A week later after his arm had completely healed from the self-inflicted damage he had caused, he had traveled out into the fields around Magnolia in order to make contact with his homeworld again. Kuchio's no jutsu, Naruto exclaimed as he slapped his hand down on the ground and the human-sized toad known as Gamakichi appeared in a poof of smoke. Bro, we've been waiting for you to summon us all week. What happened? The toad questioned. It's a long story, Naruto sighed and shook his head. Anyway, I just summoned you to deliver an update to Tsunade Obeken and Ero Sennin. Oh man, you don't know, Gamakichi spoke with a subdued voice. I don't know what, Naruto inquired. Perhaps it would be better if you hear it from the elders, Gamakichi suggested. What the he? Naruto started. Just summon the elders already. Gamakichi yelled at him. Okay. Naruto nodded confused quickly formed the hand seals for another summoning. Kuchio's no jutsu, he exclaimed as he slapped his hand down on the ground once again. A moment later both Fukasaku and Shima appeared in puffs of smoke. Yo, he waved in greeting. Naruto boy, Fukasaku said in surprise and some sadness. What's wrong, geezer toad? Naruto asked confused. There's no easy way to say this so I'll be blunt, Fukasaku started. Jiraiya boy has been killed in battle. What? Naruto stammered not believing his ears. A week ago when we lost contact with you, Jiraiya boy located the whereabouts of the Akatsuki leader which turned out to be Megakure no Sato. He infiltrated the village and encountered the leader of the Akatsuki, a man whom called himself Pain. The battle was long and Pain appeared to be not just one man but 6 different people. Jiraiya boy was outnumbered and eventually overwhelmed. He was struck down after engraving this message on my back, Fukasaku explained and removed his coat to show a series of numbers on his back. Ero Sennin is dead, Naruto asked as his fists clenched in anger and sadness at his sides. Yes, Fukasaku nodded sadly. That's not all. 2 days later Pain launched a direct attack on Konoha in the hopes of locating you. He attacked Konoha. What happened? Naruto questioned with mounting horror. When we arrived it was already too late, Fukasaku replied. Konoha has been completely destroyed. All that remains is a crater where the village used to be. This can't be happening. Naruto shook his head in denial. There were survivors, Fukasaku continued. But Pain has a dujutsu called the Rinnegan, the dujutsu wielded by the Rakudo Sennin, the first shinobi. Against something like that, even Konoha never stood a chance. Damn it, Naruto gritted out. Calm yourself Naruto-kun, a new voice spoke from behind him. Getting angry won't solve anything here, it was Itachi. Then what do you suggest? Naruto demanded. Learn. Leader Sama wields the Rinnegan, Itachi said clearly. 3 years ago both Kisame and I opted against facing Jiraiya Sama directly because I thought that the best we could accomplish was our mutual destruction. If Pain has indeed killed Jiraiya Sama then I doubt even at my best that I could defeat him in one-on-one combat with any real hope of victory. As you are now, I am sorry to say that you really don't stand a chance. A member of the Akatsuki. Here, Shima asked in surprise. It's a long story, Naruto replied. Anyway let's go and kick this Pain guy's ass already. Unfortunately I have to agree with him, Fukasaku responded as he gestured towards Itachi. There is no way you can hope to defeat Pain as you are now. Then what am I supposed to do? Naruto demanded. I can't just sit around here and wait while that bastard is running around like this. You can come with me, Fukasaku offered. I'll train ya personally in Senjutsu at Myobokuzen and hammer it into ya the same way I did to Jiraiya boy. Will it give me power to beat Pain? Naruto asked him. I can't guarantee, Fukasaku replied. But right now ya really don't stand a chance at all. Then let's go. Earthland. Magnolia Fairy Tail Guild. What do you mean, you're leaving? Natsu yelled, catching the attention of everyone in the guild. I'm just leaving for a little while to train, Naruto explained. I'm not sure when I'll be back, so keep a chair warm for me. But Loki got us all tickets to the Akane Resort, Lucy spoke up. Urza is already packed. Then Itachi can have my ticket, Naruto shrugged and turned away. Maybe a vacation will mellow him out. Hey wait a minute, Natsu started only to feel a hand on his shoulder. Just leave him be, Itachi said with a sigh. He's going through a rough time right now and just needs time to sort out his priorities. What could have happened to change him from the cheerful Naruto from yesterday into that angry person that he is now? Urza thought as she watched the blonde boy go. Whatever it is I hope he gets over it soon. Earthland. Akane Resort Beach. A shinobi is someone who strikes from the shadows, Itachi thought as he stood on the sand that made up the beach and stared out at the vast blue ocean. Originally he had refused to come on this vacation but had eventually accepted when Natsu all but dragged him along. Now he stood dressed in nothing but swimming shorts and was paying no heed to the dozens of fangirls that were following his every move. He had long since learned to ignore the stares of his fan clubs when he was still a ninja of Konoha and couldn't help but let out an irritated HN at the reminder of those days. Why aren't you playing with the others? This is supposed to be a vacation, you know. Urza asked from her sitting position atop her blanket. I've never done something like this before, Itachi answered honestly. I know the real reason that Makarov-sama offered me a position in Fairy Tail and the real reason Naruto-kun sent me with you in his place. Since neither of them were around to watch me, they wanted you all to keep an eye on me just in case I tried something foolish. When did you know? Urza asked, not denying it. When Naruto-kun left for his training trip, Itachi replied simply. Why does he even need to train? He seemed pretty strong to me, Urza inquired. It is for him to say, Itachi responded. I have no right to tell you. He's clearly hurting, Urza said clearly. I can see it in his eyes. Very well, Itachi conceded. We received word that his home village was attacked and destroyed by a single man. This same man has murdered Naruto-kun's former master and most likely has killed his grandmother too. He wants revenge, Urza whispered and clenched her eyes shut. He really is a fool. Indeed, Itachi nodded in agreement. Nothing good will come of it, but it will make him feel better once he has his revenge. When that time comes he will truly understand what my brother has gone through, and then, we can only hope that he is strong enough to push past his pain. All things considered, today was a blast, it really was, but it would have been better if Naruto was there with us, Erza thought as she lay down on one of the lounge chairs and closed her eyes. Still, Naruto, what is it about him that makes me feel this way? Erza, in this world freedom is merely an illusion. Images of a little girl with red hair, a tower under construction and dozens of slaves working to complete it filled her vision until she awoke with a jolt. A dream, I must have nodded off, she muttered and shook herself awake before heading back inside. She looked into the mirror and admired the way she had styled herself with a smile. I'm most at ease in armor after all, she chuckled as she re-equipped her standard armor on. There's no changing a girl like me. Erza, Lucy called from the doorway. They've got a casino in the basement, want to come and check it out? Well, I'm not really fond of gambling. Erza trailed off. Natsu and Gray are already down there playing, Lucy informed. And Itachi is just outside. Dear me, Erza sighed with a smirk and re-equipped her purple dress decorated in red roses. This should work, right? Dressing casual would have been fine, Lucy replied with a sweat drop at the sight. Okay, so I thought you'd have to change the armor, but still. Since I'm going, it'd be an insult to the casino if I wasn't playing to win, Erza chuckled. Yeah, we're off, Lucy hollered as she walked out the door. Once in a while is fine, right? I'm allowed to have laid back days every now and then, Erza thought as she cast one last glance in the mirror before leaving. Erza, you're amazing, Lucy exclaimed as Erza won yet again. Her luck is as good as like Naruto-kun's, Itachi thought unconcerned. It's fitting, I suppose. Time for a new dealer. A man dressed in the same attire as the staff member spoke up and exchanged places with the current dealer. Right now I feel like I can't lose no matter who I'm up against, Erza commented with a smirk. Hell yeah, Lucy agreed. If that's the case, why don't we enjoy a special game? Except we won't be betting with coins, the new dealer offered. Something is wrong here, Itachi thought and narrowed his eyes as the dealer placed 5 cards down on the table. They were face up and together they spelt the word, death, causing Erza to look up in confusion. Let's bet with our lives, the dealer smirked. Erza ne-san. Sister. Itachi's eyes darkened as his Sharingan swirled into existence. Sho. Erza trailed off in shock. It's been a while ne-san, Sho smiled back darkly. What's going on? Lucy asked but received no answer. You were safe, Erza said in relief. Safe, Sho sneered back. Ah, no, I meant, Erza stumbled over her words. Guys, I've found her, Sho said with his hand brought up to his ear. Utakata, Itachi thought as waved his left hand between the two, catching Sho in his genjutsu with just one look. A second later the whole room became pitch black, almost like all of the light had simply vanished. What the? Lucy started. It's pitch black, what's going on? This reminds me of Kokuangyo no Jutsu of the Shodai and Nadaime Hokages, Itachi mused as his Sharingan spun wildly. He may not have been able to see clearly, but he could still see chakra signatures such as the other people in the room. Just as suddenly as the darkness came, it vanished again to reveal the shaken and confused people around them. Meow, a new female voice whined as a long whip wrapped around Lucy and pulled her back, restraining her. What the heck? What is this thing? Lucy yelped in surprise as her arms were pulled back over her head. Lucy, Erza shouted in worry. Meow, spoke a young woman with brown hair in the shape of cat ears. Super strong, right? Miliana, Erza asked now sweating. You can use magic. This is getting out of hand, Itachi thought as stood over the motionless Sho. Long time, no see, Erza-chan, the cat girl said happily. What is the meaning of this? Lucy is my friend, Erza questioned. Friend, Miliana mused. But weren't we your comrades, Erza-chan? Meow. They were comrades, Lucy thought as she tried to break free of her restraints. Enough of this, Itachi spoke clearly. Let Lucy-san go or face the consequences. Meow, you're no fun, Miliana said back. So be it, Itachi said unconcerned as another Itachi appeared behind the cat girl. Huh, Miliana yelped in surprise as she turned, only feel a brief strike to the back of neck and fall to the ground unconscious. Quote. We must hurry, Itachi told the two girls as he cut through Lucis' restraints, freeing her. The others have probably encountered more enemies. Quote. Why now? Urza muttered in anger and sadness. You turned out to be quite the looker, spoke a new voice as a new man materialized a few feet away. Another one, Itachi thought with the smallest hint of irritation. That voice, Wally, Urza asked and turned to look at him. He wore a business suit, but it was his face and hands that caught her attention. He appeared to be made out of blocks and his arm appeared to change shape before their eyes. You can use magic too. Not that it would matter if you hadn't recognized me, Wally shrugged as he brought up his right arm, which was now in the shape of a long barrel, and aimed it right at her. Compared to Mad Dog Wally from the old days, I'm much more well-rounded now, there's no need to be awestruck. Once that guy gets his mitts on you, a new voice spoke as a large man with a turban on his head appeared on the other side of the room in a flash of light. Anyone would be able to use magic, right Urza? Simon, Urza asked, recognizing the voice. Urza, who are these guys? Lucy asked. Why did that guy call you his sister? He's not really my brother, Urza replied. They are my former comrades. Comrades, but I thought you'd been in fairy tales since you were a kid. Lucy continued. This was before that. Urza trailed off and turned her attention back to the two newcomers. What's the old gang doing here? We came to bring you back, Wally answered. That's all I needed to know, Itachi thought as his shifted into his Mangekyo Sharingan. Amaterasu, he whispered as black flames exploded from his eyes and crossed the difference between them in an instant. The black flames consumed Wally's right arm, causing him to scream in pain as his arm melted in a matter of seconds, forcing him to turn his other arm into a gun barrel and shoot his burning arm off at the shoulder. Before he could recover, Itachi was already in front of him with his fist covered in lightning. Wally, watch out, Simon called out, but it was already too late. Chidori, Itachi whispered as he struck forward, impaling Wally through his remaining shoulder, effectively crippling the only good arm. That's excessive, Urza thought as Wally went done. Yami no Maho. Yami Setsuna. Simon exclaimed as he brought his hands together to form activation circle. A second later the room faded into darkness, blinding everyone in the room. This man is the main threat here, I need to take him out now. And then I can face Urza, he thought as he rushed through the darkness and threw out a punch right at Itachi's face. The punch seemed to strike an invisible wall around the Uchiha, catching Simon by surprise. What sort of magic is that? Even if I can't see you normally, Itachi's voice echoed throughout the darkened room. I can still see your chakra, and I can hear you when you move. Who is this guy? Simon thought, only to feel a blade impale him through the shoulder and lift him into the air. He was pushed back and slammed hard into the far wall with the sword, or whatever it was, still in his shoulder, with enough force to cause the wall to crack. The darkness faded to reveal Itachi standing up straight, with the red spiritual thunder god having materialized its skeleton with only its sword in hand and no shield. Enough, Urza said finally, and Itachi retracted the spiritual blade, allowing Simon to slump to the ground. Itachi's power borders on inhuman. I would need to resort to my fairy armor in order to defeat him, but maybe Natsu can eventually beat him too, should Natsu ever learn to fight without actually looking into Itachi's eyes. They clearly wanted you for something, Itachi said over his shoulder as he approached Simon, who was clutching his bleeding shoulder. I already know where they were going to take me after they captured me, Urza declared. The Tower of Heaven. Let's find out the rest, Itachi said as he made eye contact with Simon, causing the bleeding man to slump to the ground. What is your purpose here, and where were you going to take Urza-san? The Tower of Heaven has been completed, Simon replied in a hollow tone. Urza is to be the sacrifice for the ceremony that will accomplish Jalal's goal of using the R system. Kanso. Hato Kurosu no Yoroi, Urza whispered as she re-equipped her standard armor. I'll never forgive Jalal for changing everyone so much. I'll put a stop to him and destroy the Tower of Heaven myself, she declared. Let's go and retrieve both Natsu-san and Grace-san before we go, Itachi nodded. What about them? Lucy asked as the three turned away. Leave them, Urza said coldly. Oh, and Itachi. Yes, Itachi asked with a look. Dispatch a message to Myobokuzen. Urza gave the order. Recall Naruto, we may need his help. So they failed, mused a man with blue hair and a tattoo across his right eye. It appears that we have a wild card in play at the moment. Jello-sama, let us quickly capture Urza and hold the ceremony. This is no longer the time to be playing around, spoke the dark-haired man. In that case, why don't you go yourself? Vivaldis, Jello suggested. Are you sure? Vivaldis asked. They are no doubt on their way here as we speak. Jello smirked and rearranged one of the pieces on his chessboard. And they have finished their turn, have they not? Earthland. Tower of Heaven courtyard. That's a lot of guards, Gray commented as they hid behind some rocks on the shoreline. Who cares? Let's plow through them, Natsu suggested. For once I agree with him, Gray nodded. Jello is in that tower, Urza said clearly. Let's go and say hello. She jumped out of cover a moment later as her body glowed. Kanso. Tenrin no Yoroi, she dashed forward as dozens of swords materialized in the air around her. Intruder. One of the guards yelled when they spotted her. Sound the alarm. Tenrin. Sakururin Soto, Urza exclaimed as she jumped into the air and spun the swords round her faster than the eye could see. A second later the circle of metal that was created lashed out and decimated the dozen guards in front of her. Her skills are impressive, Itachi thought as he watched her move to re-engage the enemy. I can see why Naruto-kun is interested in her even if he hasn't realized it yet. Not to mention she looks like teenage Kushina-sama. Karyu no Tekken, Natsu exclaimed as his fist ignited in flames and he ran through anyone that challenged him. Kori no Zoke Maho, Hanma, Gray called out as dozens of ice spikes shot out of the air and Mizu no Maho, Wota Suresa. Juvia soon followed with a blade of water which cut through the last of the guards. That was way too easy, Urza commented. Itachi nodded in agreement. The enemy probably knows we're here now and they'll be coming shortly. Urza, Lucy spoke up. Who is Jello? When she didn't receive an answer she continued. If you don't want to tell us, that's fine. Those guys said they were your former comrades, but we're your friends now. And we'll always be here for you no matter what happens. This is personal for you, I get that, Gray added. We're still going to help. Even for you, it's okay to be scared once in a while. I'm sorry, Urza said finally as she re-equipped her normal armor. There they are, a new voice called from entrance to the tower. Get them. Here they come again, Gray gritted out. They never learn, Natsu nodded. Kuchiyos. Yutai Kuzushi no Jutsu. A new familiar voice exclaimed from above. Suddenly a massive green toad crushed them beneath its weight, seemingly appearing from nowhere as a blur of red and black dropped down in front of them. Thanks for the lift, Gamahiro, the figure spoke as he stood up with his back to them. Anytime Naruto-kun, the massive toad nodded and disappeared in a poof of smoke. As that, Gray trailed off as the newcomer turned. Welcome back Naruto-kun, Itachi greeted. Sorry I'm late. Naruto turned towards them with one eye that of the Sharingan and the other gold in color with the pupil now a horizontal slit. There were orange rings around his eyes and he now sported a red trench coat with black flames emblazed on the bottom of it. A black cat crossed my path so I had to take the long way. Naruto. Urza trailed off. He's back. He's really back. But, he's different now. That aura of his is calming and, is that magic power he has now? He didn't have that when he left but now I can feel it, that is definitely magic power he's using now. From what she was able to understand his chakra, as he called it, was a mixture of mental and physical energies within the human body. Magic used spiritual energy from the user's soul, not their body like chakra did, and so was an entirely different power. From what she felt now, Naruto was clearly using magic power, but it didn't seem to be originating from his soul like what she was accustomed to. It almost felt like he had somehow drawn it into his body from the spirit of Earthland itself and had become one with it. She had heard the tales from her guildmates and even Master Makarov of how even the world itself was alive, but she had never truly believed it. She'd heard of some people trying to harness the power of nature itself, and some had even partially succeeded. The forbidden spell of mass destruction called Ise Mahojin. Eterian was said to be powered by the magic of Earthland itself, even though only the Magic Council had the sheer skill needed to control such a spell from destroying the whole world while in use. But she had never heard it ever augmenting a human body before, and she had thought it was impossible to control such a dangerous power, until now that is. I heard you had a bit of a run-in with your old friends, Naruto smiled at her as they entered the tower. And I heard you were heading to confront some guy you used to know. Quote. Over 10 years ago, a cult that worshipped black magic wanted to construct a tower to use a magic that could raise the dead, Urza started. Raise the dead? Lucy asked, surprised. It sounds like Orochimaru would have loved it here, Naruto mused as he released the natural energy within him, returning his right eye to its natural blue color. Indeed, Itachi nodded, knowing the snake Sanin's research into resurrection jutsu. The project wouldn't have been condoned by the government or the Magic Council, so they captured slaves from all over the world to build the tower, Urza continued. When I was little, I was one of those captured and taken here. Why, you were a slave? Naruto stammered in surprise. Quote. That was where I met Jello, Urza explained. After a failed escape attempt, I was taken down to isolation and tortured. They ripped out my right eye, her words shocked them all. But you have both your eyes, Lucy spoke up. Perliuzuka created a new one for me, Urza responded. Jello came to rescue me, but he was captured and was taken in my place. Later, after I had been returned to my cell with the rest of the prisoners, I just started attacking the guards. I rallied the prisoners to me and we all revolted against them. We stood up for our freedom, and to save Jello. At that time, Jello was our leader, our hero with a great sense of justice. He was also my idol, she admitted. But with the time that passed, Jello had changed. What happened? Naruto asked, knowing that things weren't going to be happily ever after. If someone can be called evil, I'd call him that, Urza answered. That was the day I learned magic. The enemy mages had finally come onto the battlefield and they struck down my old master. Her old master, Naruto thought as he remembered his own now deceased masters. He took a spell aimed at me and was killed, Urza explained. My magic awakened then and there. With that power I killed the mages who killed him and led the slaves out towards the boats on the shore. After I was sure they would make it, I turned around and headed back inside the tower in order to find Jello. I found him all right. Let me guess, Naruto stopped her. You were too late. Yes, Urza replied harshly. He was insane. He said that he wanted to resurrect Zirf. Now, he almost killed me but decided it was better to exile me instead. He said if I breathed a word of what was happening here to anyone, that he would kill my friends. I woke up on a beach the next day and just cried for what felt like an eternity. Urza, Naruto said as he reached out a hand to her. The redhead said as a single tear fell from her left eye. Quote. I am going to fight Jello. Hold on, Urza, Gray spoke up. That Zirf you just mentioned. He's called the most brutal and cruel dark mage in the history of the magic world, Urza explained. Indeed, Lucy mused. The monster summoned by Lullaby was created from Zirf. Not only that, I'm afraid Deliora could have been another such part of Zirf, Urza added. Zirf has the power to create these terrifying monsters with little effort. That's the Zirf that Jello plans to revive? Lucy asked with mounting worry. I'm not sure what his motive is, Urza bowed her head in shame. According to Jell, my old comrade, when Zirf is revived they would become the rulers of the world. World domination, Itachi mused, thinking back on his days in the Akatsuki. It sounds familiar. I don't know what Jello has been filling their heads with since I escaped the Tower of Heaven, but I did abandon everyone for 8 years, Urza continued. I betrayed them. Bullshit, Naruto declared. This guy goes insane and threatens to kill all your old friends so you don't talk. Now he can't touch them and we're going to kick his ass here and now. I'm with Naruto on this one, Natsu agreed. We're in this until the end. Itachi nodded. What are we waiting for? Gray asked. An engraved invitation. Welcome everyone, spoke dozens of mouths that formed on the walls around them to their surprise. What's with these mouths? Gray asked, surprised. They're talking, Juvia said, confused. Jello must have set this up so he could be heard in every corner of the tower, Urza mused. His words are transmitting through the mouths. Lucy asked with a shiver of disgust. I am Jello, the one who controls this tower. All the pieces on both sides have been placed, the voice spoke. It is about time to being the paradise game. A game? Natsu inquired. The rules are simple, Jello explained. I will use Urza as my sacrifice in a ceremony that will resurrect Zirf. Who's he kidding? Gray sneered back. Like we're going to let something like that happen, Naruto growled out. Sacrifice. Human sacrifice. No one deserves that fate. That is to say, if I open the gates to heaven, then I win. If you are able to prevent this, then you are the winners. But, to make the game more interesting, I have 3 players here, Jello continued. 3 players, Itachi mused. You must get past them to reach me, Jello declared. Thus this is a 7-on-3 battle. Lastly there is a special rule in play. The Magic Council might attack using the Issei Mahojin. Idirian, it's a very destructive magic capable of annihilating everything. A weapon capable of destroying the entire island in one blast. Naruto thought in surprise. He knew that the Biju could do such a thing and there were certain kinjutsu which could cause destruction on such a scale, but this sounded like something else entirely. This wasn't a jutsu which you hit an enemy with and watch as it tears them apart. This was a long-range weapon of mass destruction designed solely to wipe the enemy from the face of existence. Such a weapon should only ever be used as a deterrent for war or at the worst, a last resort, and that seemed to be the case here. It is unknown how much time remains, Jello continued. But when Idirian hits, everyone here will die, there will be no winner. Hence, game over. What is Jello thinking? Lucy stammered. He might be killed too, and he calls it a game. Idirian, from the council. That's impossible, because they would need a majority vote to give such an order, Urza reasoned. That's it, enjoy the game, Jello concluded, and the mouths disappeared. He must have some kind of escape plan, Naruto suggested. Agreed, Itachi nodded. Either that or he has something planned for when Idirian fires. All right then, Urza started. Lucy and Juvia, you two head through the door on the right, she ordered as she gestured towards the doors. Natsu and Gray, you two take the door on the left. Naruto and Itachi, you both climb up the tower from the outside. I'll take the main stairwell. Let's all meet up in the throne room. Let's go, Natsu said with a grin. Earthland. Tower of Heaven, East Wing hallway. Rasengan, Naruto exclaimed as he blew open the outer wall of the tower 100 feet up. Guards, Itachi said as dozens of guards took notice and charged towards the 2 shinobi turned mages. These guys are a real pain, Naruto groaned and formed a familiar hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, he called out as 10 clones popped into existence at his side and charged at the attacking guardsmen. There are just 2 of them. Stop them already, the captain of the guardsmen yelled, only to freeze and fall to the floor unconscious. Genjutsu, Naruto asked his partner beside him. HN, Itachi responded. Impressive, a new female voice commented as a woman with pink hair dressed in white robes and wielding a sheathed katana appeared in front of them. I am called a Karuga, greetings. Oh shit, Naruto muttered. Another Sakura-chan. Excuse me, Akaruga asked curious. Never mind, Naruto shook it off. Listen, you wouldn't mind just stepping aside, would you? I'm afraid not, Akaruga replied amused. I didn't think so, Naruto sighed. Itachi, you go on ahead. I'll catch up in a minute. Are you sure? Itachi asked. Yeah, Naruto nodded. Besides, Urza is probably already up there. Very well, Itachi conceded and burst into dozens of black crows. Naruto sighed as he recalled his previous battle with the elder Uchiha brother and shook his head at the thought. Despite everything that had happened, Itachi was the sole link he had to his old world other than the Toads, but since they weren't technically from the shinobi world, it was different where Itachi was concerned. Itachi was many things but a madman with a need to prove himself by killing his family, he most certainly was not. His powers were almost ungodly and he seemed to use them wisely. He was quiet most of the time and kind of reminded him of both Sasuke before he left and Shino. He could be trusted, for now at least. This guy did kill his entire family after all. Still, there was something wrong with that story when compared to the Itachi that had fought him and now fought alongside him and his new friends. He'd worry about it later. Alright then. Naruto sighed again and stood completely still. Let's go wild, he said as orange rings formed around his eyes, his right pupil elongated into a horizontal slit and his right eye turned yellow. Senjutsu. Senin Moto. What strange eyes, Ikaruga mused. Fuin. Kai. Naruto spoke as he unsealed a dozen shuriken from a scroll that had appeared in his hand. The shuriken sailed towards Ikaruga only for her to unsheath her sword and deflect the dozen shuriken. There is nothing under the sun that I cannot slice, Ikaruga proclaimed and slashed one last time, this time striking at Naruto directly. Naruto brought his hands up and a kunai slipped into his grasp. Futon. Hein, he exclaimed as his wind chakra coated the blade. You're good, he commented as the two blades connected and Naruto pulled back. But I'm better, he said as he lunged forward and threw out a punch with his free hand. Kawazu Kumite. Oh, Ikaruga asked amused as she dodged the punch effortlessly only to feel a solid hit to the side of her face, sending her crashing back into the far wall. What was that? She stammered in surprise. She's insanely fast, Naruto thought as he narrowed his eyes. If I wasn't in Sage mode and using the Sharingan, she would have sliced right through me and I wouldn't have been able to do a damn thing about it. That sword of hers is something else too, my wind-enhanced kunai could barely hold itself together when we clashed. That was my way of greeting, Ikaruga said as she stood up completely recovered. I am no mere passerby on the road. I don't care, Naruto said back and formed a familiar hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, he exclaimed as three clones popped into existence beside him and charged. Here I come, Ikaruga spoke as she readied her sword. Yasha Senku, it came out as a whisper and a second later she made one slash with her sword. Suddenly all three clones were wiped out and were soon followed by a gust of wind. Her speed with that sword of hers is unreal, Naruto thought as his Sharingan spun wildly. Well, I guess I have to even the playing field. Suddenly his Sharingan shifted into its Mangekyo form and he focused on her sword. Kamui, he whispered as space and time distorted where she held her sword. What the? Ikaruga said and jumped away from the spiraling vortex. I won't fall for your tricks, she said as she landed a few yards back. Senpo. Rasenrangan, Naruto exclaimed as he appeared from above with two spiraling chakra spheres in hand. Is that pure magic? Ikaruga asked in thought as she narrowly evaded the attack. The twin orbs of energy struck the ground and exploded in a blast of smoke and dust as she skidded to a halt just outside of the smoke cloud. I can't see anything. Don't tell me he planned to use this as a smokescreen. She narrowed her eyes in anger at the thought. Karura-en, she bellowed as she unleashed a blast of fire from her blade with one single slash, blowing away out the smoke and leaving a trail of destruction through the hall. She's too good, Naruto thought as the smoke cleared. It looks like I can't afford to hold back, he sighed and formed a hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, two clones instantly popped into existence at his side and started charging a familiar blue chakra sphere in his hand. Another magic ball. No matter what weapon you wield, it cannot stand up to my blade. Surrender, Ikaruga spoke clearly. This isn't meant to break your sword, Naruto explained as white wind blades formed around the chakra ball and a bell-like screech filled the air. It's just meant to defeat you, he yelled as he lunged at her. Foolish, Ikaruga said as she readied her sword. Futon. Rasengan. Naruto exclaimed as the spiraling chakra sphere connected with Ikaruga's sword. Her eyes widened as the energy ball drilled into her blade and broke through. She was blown back upon contact with the chakra sphere and slammed into the far wall with an echoing explosion. He looked where his opponent had crashed. She sat motionless against the dented wall breathing heavily, but she was clearly still alive. We're done here, he said and turned away. Wait, she stammered as she looked up. Who are you? Ikaruga thought as she slipped into unconsciousness. Now, I need to find Erza and Itachi, Naruto thought as he turned and dashed down the darkened corridor. Dear me, it seems the game is already over, Jelal sighed as he knocked over the pieces on his chessboard. Is it really entertaining, playing with people's lives? Urza demanded as she stepped out of the doorway. Oh, but of course, Jelal answered. Life and death are the very basis of all things, they intensify every emotion. Or to put it a rather different way, there is nothing quite as dull as life, it has been a while. Urza. Jelal. Urza trailed off when he turned and she saw his face. You could have simply fled this place at any time, Jelal told her. Why did you choose not to do so? I need to free all of my former comrades, Urza replied. Not that I care, Jelal countered. I no longer have any use for them, not with the Tower of Heaven complete. Even if it were to be destroyed only 10 minutes from now. Urza questioned. You were referring to Eterian. Hehehehe. Jelal chuckled at that. You seem unconcerned, so you really were bluffing, Urza guessed as she gripped her sword tighter. Oh no, the Eterian will fall, Jelal responded as he removed his hood exposing his face. That is what I wanted to hear, Urza shouted as she raised her sword. 10 minutes, if I can simply keep you here for that long, I will be able to bring an end to all of this. Oh no, you are going to be sacrificed to Zirf, Jelal laughed. That much is pure fact. It is your destiny. Sorry I'm late, Naruto said as he arrived at the throne room doors to the sight of Itachi waiting for him. Where's Urza? Inside, Itachi replied. Why aren't you in there with her? Naruto asked. At the moment she does not seem to need our help, Itachi replied. 7 minutes left, Jelal chuckled. In 7 minutes' time, Eterian will strike this place, let us enjoy those 7 minutes, Urza. Right now there is nothing that I fear, Urza declared. Even if Eterian does fall upon me, I will be satisfied as long as I take you with me. Here I come, Jelal smirked as he raised his hand and whips of dark energy lanced out. Yami no Maho. The whips were so fast that they were able to strike Urza across the chest plate as she evaded the assault. I've got you now, Jalal's smirk widened as he sent a condensed ray of darkness at her. It stuck her in the stomach and blew her back through the wall and outside of the tower. She tumbled for a moment before kicking off of some falling debris and launching herself back up into the throne room. You've just built this huge tower and you're just smashing it up. Urza shouted as 2 swords appeared in her hand and swiped down at Jelal. I just don't know what to say. It's just a pillar or two, Jelal responded with a knowing grin. Nothing more than decorations. Sho and the others worked 8 long years believing in you, to make those decorations. Urza yelled in anger as she slashed away at him. Oh, don't play your little word games with me, Jelal shot back as he evaded each strike. What's important here is the R system. That's what those 8 years were for, and now it is finally complete. He laughed as he hurled a volley of darkness at her, binding her. Enough, Urza screamed and with one single slash, wiped away the darkness that had assaulted her. This ends now, she called out as she appeared in front of him and slashed with the back of her katana. You're telling me, this is the same Urza? Jelal thought in shock as she slashed him across the chest with one swift move and then pinned him to the ground. Damn. What are you really after? Urza demanded as she looked down at him. You haven't completed the R system at all, have you? Don't think I've been doing nothing for those 8 years, I've done my research on R systems. Sure, you've constructed the building itself perfectly, in accordance with the blueprints from back then. But you're still missing one basic thing to actually complete the R system. I already told you, Jelal strained. The sacrifice will be you. I mean something more basic than that, Urza continued. The thing you're lacking here is magic. To activate a magic spell of this scale requires a total of 2,700,000,000 ideas of sheer magic power. We're talking about the kind of magic you might not even be able to achieve by gathering all the mages on the continent. It is utterly impossible for a single human to gather up all of that magic and store it in this tower. And that's not the only thing. You are perfectly aware of the Council's intents to destroy this place, yet you make not a single move to run. What exactly are you planning? I think you've already realized what he has planned, a new voice spoke from the entrance. The sheer amount of energy needed for such a technique is inhuman, only the Biju are capable of generating the amount of power needed. Not quite, Urza said as she stood up and stepped away. There is one other source of energy great enough to power a spell of this scale, the magic of the world itself. The world itself? Itachi asked with a raised eyebrow. The energy Naruto was able to gather from the world around him, Urza replied and turned to the blonde sage. You mean natural energy? Naruto asked and she nodded. But I'm only able to use a small amount of it. The magic of a world is theoretically limitless, Urza explained. You figured it out. Jello stared up with widened eyes. Idarian is said to gather the magic of the world itself and unleash it in one blast at a target, Urza finished. You're hoping for the council to fire Idarian at the tower and somehow use that energy to power the R system. It doesn't matter now, Jello smirked. 1 minute. We can't stop an attack of this scale, Itachi said to his 2 guild mates. Maybe we can, Naruto suggested and ran over to the hole in the wall that was created earlier when Jello had blown Urza through it. What are you planning to do? Urza yelled after him. I'm going to stop that light, Naruto shouted back as he jumped and stood on the side of the wall. Senjutsu. Senenmoto, he whispered as gathered natural energy into his body and his eyes shifted into sage mode. Here it comes, he thought as he looked up and saw a beam of light descend on the tower. Senpo. Kamui, space and time distorted right above the tower and the beam of light was sucked in upon contact. Unlike the regular Kamui which was capable to creating a small black hole and capable of sucking up most attacks and people. The Senpo. Kamui was the same jutsu powered by his sage chakra and as such was far larger and stronger than the original. The black hole that Naruto had just created above the tower was so large that it was capable of transporting the sheer power of the Idarian blast into another dimension. However, there was a problem with this specific jutsu. It drained him completely of natural energy in one go. Damn, Naruto grunted as he felt sage mode leave him and he started to fall off the tower. Urza appeared and grabbed his hand before he could fall, pulling him back inside the throne room. Thanks, he breathed and she nodded in response. He really has gotten stronger, Urza thought with a small smile and stood up once more. You, all those years of work, infiltrating the council, you'll pay for this, damn you. Jello roared in anger as he stood up. I've had enough out of you, shouted a familiar pink-haired boy with his hands covered in flames as he appeared and landed a solid punch to Jalal's face, sending him crashing back into the far wall. Natsu. Urza trailed off surprised. Urza belongs to Fairy Tail, Natsu declared. Don't think, even for a second, that you can screw with us and get away with it. And now the Dragon Slayer appears, Jello sneered as he stood up, casting away his coat revealing his armored suit underneath. You all have the nerve to disrupt my plans. I'm going to crush you with my Tentai Maho. Naruto-kun, Itachi spoke up catching the downed blonde's attention. How long until you recover? Give me 5 minutes, Naruto replied clearly sweating. Very well, Itachi nodded. Move aside Salamander-san, he ordered as his eyes shifted into his Mangekyo Sharingan. I will deal with this. Natsu remembered the kind of power Itachi had wielded during his battle with Naruto and reluctantly moved out of the way. Amaterasu, the Uchiha whispered and black flames exploded from his eyes. Ryusei. Jello smirked as his body glowed yellow and his right eye changed in appearance. The pupil became a strange red pattern as he disappeared in a burst of speed before the black flames could touch him. What? Itachi thought in surprise. No one had ever dodged Amaterasu before and for good reason, considering the speed that the flames traveled at to reach their target. Hell, Sasuke had only survived because of Orochimaru's rebirthing technique and Naruto had been forced to manipulate space and time with Kamui just to deflect it. Too slow, Jello said as he appeared behind him and landed a solid punch across his face. Even with my Sharingan, I can barely see his movements, Itachi thought as Jello continued to batter him. There is a foreign energy coercing through his system that is not his own, disrupting his chakra and my genjutsu. It reminds me of the Kyuubi's chakra when it influences Naruto, but not as a chaotic, it's almost calm. He's also not looking into my eyes, so I can't use Tsukuyomi. He must have received word of my abilities. I am not a fool, Jello said as he threw out another punch. Your eyes are the source of your power. As long as I don't look into your eyes, you cannot defeat me. Even with that power of yours, it's over. It's time for you to have a glimpse, he spoke as he jumped up onto the ceiling. Of real destructive power, 7 spheres of yellow magic connected around him and suddenly shot down at Itachi. Shichi-seiken. Susanoo, Itachi whispered as the spiritual thunder god formed around him as the 7 golden orbs struck him. It doesn't matter what you do. As long as this tower still stands, I will just find another way to gathering the energy needed to power it. Jello laughed as he landed back on the floor at the other side of the room and threw his arms up in a cross shape. What is this feeling? Itachi thought with narrowed eyes. Urutarisu, Jello exclaimed as he gathered the darkness of the shadows around him into a single large sphere and hurled it at the spiritual thunder god. Susanoo brought down the Yata no Kagami down to cover Itachi as the swirling dark orb struck with a deafening explosion. This isn't going the way I'd hoped. At the very least I need to ensure that the enemy does not win this battle, but right now I don't have the chakra to completely destroy this tower. There has to be another way, Itachi thought and saw Natsu out of the corner of his eye. Salamander-san, I am told that you can devour flames in order to gain strength. Yeah, Natsu nodded. Devour these flames and use that strength to destroy this tower. If this tower were to fall, then at the very least we can deny the enemy victory, Itachi spoke as black flames erupted from his eyes once more. Amaterasu. Natsu quickly ate the black flames without them burning him, and after the last of them were devoured he grinned. I'm all revved up. He punched his hand into his palm as his magic seal appeared in the air in front of him and orange flames wrapped around his body. Scales formed across his forehead and his teeth elongated into sharp canines. Fairy Tail mages specialize in property damage, he said as he charged forward far faster than before and landed a solid punch to the jaw, sending Jello flying back. You little punk, Jello growled out as he recovered and charged back at the Dragon Slayer before him. I'm going to finish you in an instant. You're going to regret getting up here, I'll send you straight to hell. I've got confidence in my own stubbornness, Natsu grinned as the two exchanged blows. Come and get me if you can. Shichi-seiken, Jello exclaimed as he knocked Natsu away and fired off a volley of light orbs at him. Come on, Natsu urged, and Jello struck him head-on with an orb of light only for it to break apart upon contact with his flames. What's the matter? Are you holding back because you're afraid to damage your precious tower? Your attacks have no effect on me at all. Is this really Natsu? He might be stronger than me now, Urza thought as she watched on. That power, it has to be Doragon Fosu, there's no mistaking it. This is Natsu's true power, unreal. Impressive, Itachi mused. Don't get cocky, you little punk, Jello shouted as he telekinetically blasted Natsu back into the far wall. Karyu no Kon, Natsu exclaimed as his hands ignited in fire and slammed them down into the ground, shaking the tower and unleashing a torrent of flames everywhere. My tower, I spent 8 years building it, you, Jello said enraged. Unforgivable, he yelled and brought his hands up in a cross shape above his head, releasing a shockwave. That's the same spell as before, Itachi thought and prepared to intervene should that spell be used again. Something that could damage even the Yata no Kagami was not something that he would allow to be used against one of his allies if he could help it. But he had already released Susanoo and his chakra was running low despite his inhuman resilience to exhaustion. Senjutsu. Senenmoto, Naruto spoke from behind him as the ground around him seemed to crack. Naruto-kun, he's finally ready to re-enter the battle, Itachi mused. He recharged, Urza thought as the blonde took a step forward and disappeared in a burst of speed. What inhuman speed. You again. Jello sneered as he finished gathering darkness from the shadows around the destroyed. Urutarisu. Senpo. Cho Udama Rasengan. Naruto exclaimed as he descended upon the blue-haired mage with a large spinning chakra sphere in hand nearly twice as big as his own body. Susanoo. Itachi strained as the spiritual thunder god formed around him once again. He quickly grabbed Urza and Natsu with its 2 right hands, discarding both the sword and the jar while raising the Yata no Kagami up to defend from the resulting blast unleashed by Naruto's very destructive jutsu. The massive spiraling sphere connected with the orb of darkness and both exploded with an echoing crack. The tower shattered and fell, or it would if it didn't fall away and reveal nothing but blue crystal in its place. Naruto landed beside Urza, Natsu and Itachi, the latter of whom had released Susanoo and had fallen to his knees in exhaustion. Did you get him? Natsu asked. No. Naruto shook his head. I can still sense his chakra. This is. Urza trailed off at the sight of the now crystal tower around them. Lacrima. The entire tower is one big lacrima. He must have been planning to absorb magic from Idarian with this lacrima. You dare to interfere with my plans, Jello spoke as the dust cleared and revealed his glaring form. I'll kill you here and now. Jello, Urza muttered as a single tear slid down the left side of her face. Urza. This guy. Naruto thought and formed a single hand seal. Urza, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to make you cry. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. A second later two clones popped into existence at his side. Naruto. What are you? Urza started only to cover her ears as a familiar and disturbing bell-like screech echoed through the air. Don't tell me he's going to use that spell. But I thought I told him never to use it again. He's going to cripple himself at this rate. That's. Itachi whispered as Naruto and his clones formed a white chakra shuriken in the original's right hand. What is that? Jello asked with wide eyes. This guy. You're done for now, Natsu declared. Futon. Rasenshuriken. Naruto exclaimed as he hurled the chakra shuriken through the air at the blue-haired mage. He threw it, Itachi thought with wide eyes. How can he throw such condensed chakra? The chakra shuriken closed in and Jello jumped over it in order to evade the strike. The wind blades expanded just as he landed several feet away, and a moment later the Rasengan core of the chakra shuriken expanded. Finally, with an echoing explosion, it was over. It ends now, Naruto yelled as he appeared beside the blue-haired mage. Senpo. Rasenrangan, he exclaimed as he slammed a pair of spinning chakra sphere into Jalal's chest. I am impossible. I cannot be defeated. Jello shouted back as he quickly recovered despite the sheer amount of damage he had taken and hurled a bolt of light at Naruto. I will create a land of freedom. Zirf called to me softly, through the pain and fear. He asked me if I wanted true freedom. That's right, I am the only one who can sense Zerif's presence. I am the chosen one. Together with Zirf, I will create a nation of true freedom. Would you just shut up already? Naruto yelled as the two traded blows, battling their way from one side of the room-turned roof to the other. I don't give a damn about your freedom, or any shit like that. Who cares? Crap like that has got nothing to do with my life. The will to change the world, that alone is enough to turn the wheel of history. Why can you fools not understand that? Jello exclaimed as he jumped into the air and formed a large yellow magic circle in midair. The Abisu Bariku again. Are you trying to bring down the whole tower? Urza demanded at the sight. Just give me another 8 years. No, this time I'll build it in 5 years. Zirf. Just a little longer, Jello rambled. I don't care if you tell me that the whole damn world will be destroyed tomorrow. I'll never give up. That's what it means to be human. Naruto yelled as he jumped and his Mangekyo Sharingan spun. Abisu Bariku. Jello exclaimed as a large fusion blast of darkness right at him. Kamui, Naruto whispered as space and time distorted between them. Jalal's spell was sucked into the spiraling vortex, much to his shock and anger. Damn it, I'm out of Sage Chakra again, he thought as he breathed raggedly. I have just enough chakra left, he said as he started channeling chakra to his left arm and jumped right at Jalal. That spell he just used, that's what he used to stop Idarian. Damn him. Jello thought in anger only for it to turn into shock as Naruto jumped at him. Rasengan, Naruto exclaimed as he slammed the spinning chakra sphere into Jalal's chest, blowing him downwards through the tower. The tower shook as the lacrima crystal started to crack and shatter until the whole tower started to fall as one down onto the island below. Where am I? Urza whispered with a groan as her eyes slowly opened. Urza, a series of voices were heard along with splashing water. Thank God you're okay. Don't make us worry like that, damn it. What's going on? Urza asked as she shook herself awake. She appeared to be on a beach under the night sky and in someone's arms. Her friends were running towards her, splashing water everywhere as they ran. She raised her hands and gazed at them for several long seconds as her vision returned to normal. I'm alive. She looked up at the one who was holding her bridal style in his arms. We all are. Naruto replied as he looked down at her with a small smile. It's over. Jello. Did he? Urza trailed off. I don't know if he survived or not, Naruto answered her unasked question as he dropped to his knees with her still in his arms. You really cared about him, but sometimes, you just can't save everyone. The only option people like us have is to move forward and never give up, even at the end. You're right, Urza smiled sadly. Fairy tale, I can't really imagine a world without my comrades. It's the same for all of us, Natsu was the one who responded to that. You're a member of Fairy Tail, you're one of us and we weren't going to let anyone take you away. That's right, Lucy nodded in agreement. You all, Urza closed her eyes with a smile. Thank you, she told them. That's right, I don't have to die for my comrades, Sake. I have to live for their sake. Because that's the only way to bring about a happy future, she thought as tears flowed down from both of her eyes. Let's get out of here, Naruto grinned. Earthland. Fury Southern Beach Hotel. Is this guy really going to be okay? Gray asked as he looked at the bedridden Natsu wrapped in bandages. Yeah, seriously, he's been sleeping for 3 days now, Lucy added. Natsu. Lucis wearing a maid outfit, and she's dancing for everyone, Happy shouted into the Dragon Slayer's ear. I'd be pissed off if that managed to wake him up, Lucy huffed and turned away only for the pink-haired young man to start smiling. No grinning in your sleep. Oh, just let him rest a little longer, Urza spoke up from the desk on the other side of the room. Not that it could have been helped under the circumstances, Itachi mused. I took a gamble when I allowed him to devour the black flames of Amaterasu. By all rights, he should have been incinerated by merely touching it, he grunted as he turned away. Thankfully all I had to do was buy time for Naruto-kun to recover, otherwise I would have had to go on the offensive and risk leaving the others unprotected. This guy is becoming more of a monster every day, Gray sighed and leaned back in his chair. Natsu's skills are extraordinary, Itachi thought as he gazed down at the young man's sleeping face. His body was able to break down Amaterasu into mere particles and absorb the energy from it, thus triggering that transformation we saw. This boy's potential rivals Naruto-kun's, they both even act somewhat alike. I wonder. I caused so much trouble to all of you in this incident, Urza spoke apologetically. I really don't know what I can say. Don't worry about it, Naruto told her. We won and we all made it out of there alive. Whatever happened to that Element 4 girl? Urza asked, changing the subject. Juvia. Oh, she's headed back already, Gray answered. She said she wanted to join Fairy Tail as soon as possible, so she ran off to find the old man. I see. I hear she helped us out a lot, so I would have liked to be there to back her up, but... Urza mused. Shouldn't you be getting some sleep? Naruto asked the redhead. I wasn't really hurt that much, Urza shook her head and waved off his concern. It could have been a lot worse. That's an understatement, Gray muttered. So this is where you were, Naruto spoke up as he stepped out onto the balcony. Urza stood at the edge with her arms resting on the banister as she gazed out at the calm ocean that was reflecting the moonlight. Huh, oh, it's you Naruto, Urza said over her shoulder as he approached. Are you all right? Naruto asked her. I'm just thinking about my old comrades, my old friends. I feel like I've betrayed them, Urza responded. I don't know if Jello was really possessed by Zeref's ghost or not, but he was able to change my old friends into some of my worst enemies. I just left them after Itachi defeated them without a care in the world. I know the feeling, Naruto started. Before I came here I was being hunted by a group of S-class criminals called the Akatsuki who wanted to harness the demonic power I have. I heard that your home was destroyed, Urza said a little subdued. Itachi told you that? Naruto asked before shaking his head. Of course he did. He used to be one of them, a member of the Akatsuki, before he was brought here. So Naruto and Itachi really were enemies, Urza thought in confirmation. I could have gone back and defended my home, but the leader of the village. The Hokage ordered me to remain here out of the Akatsuki's reach, Naruto continued. That didn't work out as well as we'd hoped. My old sensei infiltrated the Akatsuki's home village and was killed by their leader. With Ero Sennin dead, they knew Konoha couldn't protect me, and as soon as the Akatsuki realized that they couldn't find me, they launched a direct attack on Konoha. The whole village was destroyed in one day, and I wasn't there to do a damn thing about it. Quote. I'm sorry, Urza whispered. It seems we all have our problems. Yeah, Naruto nodded sadly. Itachi's little brother was my best friend and he betrayed us 4 years ago. I promised the girl I liked that I would bring him back to her, but in the end I failed. I've always failed. No matter how far I go or how hard I try, it never seems to be enough. Have you given up? Urza asked him. Quote. I'll never give up, Naruto replied. There is nothing more I can do about my home or the people that died for me, but I'm not just going to let the Akatsuki take me. Konoha is my past. Fairy Tail is my future. Unlike my old friend Sasuke, I'll keep moving forward and never look back at what could have been. Keep moving forward, huh? Urza smiled at that. Sho, Simon, Wally, Miliana, Jello, I'll keep moving forward. I forgive you all, and I'm sorry for everything. Let's go back inside and get some sleep, Naruto suggested as he turned back towards the door. Quote. Naruto, wait, Urza said quickly, stopping him. What is it? Naruto asked as he turned half towards her. Thank you, Urza smiled and hugged, catching him by surprise. Huh, Naruto thought, unable to comprehend what she was doing. He'd seen others hug before but had never actually experienced it himself before. You're welcome. It came out as a question even as he slipped his arms around her and hugged her back. Neither of them said a word as they broke apart and went their separate ways. Earthland. Magnolia Fairy Tail Guild. What the fuck? Naruto's voice echoed as they all stood in front of the newly completed Fairy Tail Guild. Is anyone else seeing this? The new guild was far larger than the one that was destroyed during the war with Phantom Lord several months ago. This is... Gray trailed off. That was a shock, Urza commented. They actually finished it, Natsu exclaimed in surprise. Itachi grunted. It looks like a castle, Lucy mused at the sight. Hey, Miragen greeted them with a wave from the entrance. Welcome back to Fairy Tail. It's totally different from before, Natsu said. We did rebuild it from scratch, Miragen responded. We've got an open-air cafe now along with a souvenir shop that sells Fairy Tail t-shirts, wristbands, mugs and towels. We even have lacrima crystals for sale, though they are pretty pricey. As she and the others continued towards the gift shop, Itachi hung back with Naruto. Naruto, Itachi spoke up, catching his attention. Who is she? Mira-chan, Naruto asked. I'm surprised you haven't met her yet. She's usually the one in charge of the guild whenever the old man has a council meeting. She's supposed to be insanely strong, and I do know she is registered as an S-class mage, though she never seems to take any missions. Her chakra is strange, Itachi mused. You cannot tell me you haven't noticed. Quote. So your Sharingan picked up on it, huh? Naruto asked, though it didn't come out more of a statement than a question. She and her brother are the same, so I think it's their branch of magic. Perhaps, Itachi conceded. You guys are finally back, huh? Kana spoke from the doorway. Come on inside and check it out, she said as she gestured towards the main hall. It's not like it was before, Natsu grumbled as the group looked over the new main hall of the guild. Hey there, one of the blonde waitresses dressed in a Fairy Tail min dress greeted them with a smile. Welcome to Fairy Tail. The waitresses have got new outfits. Gray trailed off with a glazed look. Nice legs, Naruto thought, only to receive an elbow from the redhead at his side. Quit staring, you idiot, Urza hissed in his ear. Sorry, Naruto apologized as she turned away. Why does she care? Girls are just so confusing. Sakura-chan did the same thing. I'll admit that the outfits are cute, but that doesn't give you the right to stare, Urza thought with an annoyed look. It had been 3 months since the blonde had entered her life, and even she had to admit that she'd started to think of him as more than a friend. And after the recent incident at the Tower of Heaven, he'd become her lifeline and support to continue living in this strange world. Was that the master's idea? Lucy asked with a sigh. It's all different, Natsu pouted. And that's not all we've got that's new. Behind the bar we have a pool, downstairs there is an amusement center, and perhaps the biggest difference is the second floor. Anybody's allowed up there now, Kana continued. Although naturally, you still have to have an S-rank mage on your team to go on S-rank missions. We can go up to the second floor, Lucy asked, surprised. S rank huh? Naruto muttered, though the redhead at his side heard him. Is that what he wants? To be an S rank mage like me? He certainly has the power to be one, Urza thought. So you're finally back, are you? A familiar old voice spoke up from the side. Long time no see, old man, Naruto greeted with a wave. Welcome back, all of you. Makarov nodded back and motioned to the blue-haired woman at his side. This is our newest member, Juvia. Cute, ain't she? So you really have joined up. Gray grinned at the sight. Juvia, thank you for all of your help back at the tower, Urza said with a nod. So you know one another? Makarov mused before shrugging. Juvia has all of you to thank. Juvia smiled happily while speaking in third person as normal. Juvia will do her best. Good luck, Lucy smiled back. In that case, Makarov whispered to Urza. You probably already know, but she used to be one of Phantom's. Yes, don't worry about that, Urza reassured. She's our comrade now. I see. Makarov nodded and waved off their chat. Well, make her feel at home. Oh, and there's one more new member I'd like you to meet, he said and turned to one of the tables. Hey, come and introduce yourself. Someone else, Happy asked as they turned towards the table. What? Lucy shouted in surprise as she recognized him. Why, you're kidding me, Gray yelled. Gajiel Red Fox. Natsu glared at the man. What's this punk doing here? Master, what kind of joke is this supposed to be? Gray questioned. Wait, Juvia brought him here, Juvia pleaded. Am I missing something? Itachi inquired. That guy used to be one of the top members of Phantom Lord, a guild that Fairy Tail was at war with 3 months ago, Naruto explained. From what I heard, he is also a dragon slayer like Natsu, only he uses iron instead of fire. I see, Itachi nodded in understanding. Juvia is one thing, but this guy was directly responsible for our guild's destruction, Urza declared. Now, he was only acting on Jose's orders back then, Makarov reasoned. It couldn't be helped. You know what they say, yesterday's enemies are today's friends. I know the feeling, Naruto grumbled as he sent a glare at the Uchiha to his side. Itachi grunted in agreement. Stop screwing around, Natsu yelled. I can't work with a guy like that. Oh, don't worry, Gajiel shot back. I have no intention of being all buddy-buddy with you. I need work. One guild is as good as the next. Not that I ever thought I'd end up working at a nasty guild like this. What did you say? Natsu snarled out. Gajiel-kun is always so lonely, Juvia cried. Juvia couldn't bear to just leave him. I mean, Juvia doesn't like him or anything. It is the duty of an old man like me to guide young men who have lost their way back onto the right path, Makarov spoke wisely. He's not a bad guy at heart, you know, at least. I hope not. If this is Master's decision, then I will support it, but I think we should at least have someone keep an eye on him for the time being, Urza said clearly. It's not like we haven't done something like this before. Indeed, Itachi thought as he remembered that despite the fact that he was now recognized as a friend and comrade by the others in Fairy Tail, he was originally an enemy of Naruto's, and the two had almost killed each other during their little reunion, back when he confronted the young Uzumaki. Is something wrong? Lucy asked Natsu. I dunno, Natsu shivered. This new guild, it doesn't feel right. Hurry up and take a seat. The main event is about to start, Kana told them as she pushed the group to one of the empty tables, and the moment they were seated, the light went out and shrouded the room in darkness. Too dark, Natsu said and breathed a small stream of fire into the air above him to cast some light on them. Stop doing that, Kana ordered. It's a show, it's meant to be dark. What's all this now? Gray asked. There's a stage over there, Lucy said as the stage lit up with lights. Is that Mira-chan? Naruto blinked as the curtains parted to reveal the white-haired beauty in a dress with her legs crossed sitting on a chair and a guitar in her arms. I gently touch the desk where you used to sit, alone once more today with the shadows. I look up to the sky and whisper a prayer. You're out there, somewhere, too, under this vast sky. I bear with the tears even as I tremble, even when the darkness threatens to swallow me. Don't forget, there will always be a place for you to come home to, and people waiting for you, Mira sang and the crowd cheered. All was well, Natsu yelped in pain as Gajeel stood on his foot, causing him to stand up and turn on the Iron Dragon Slayer. What the hell was that for? You did that on purpose. Shut up. Stop interrupting Mira-chan's song. A random guild member shouted as he and his friend hurled a pair of mug at the two dragon slayers. Here we go, Naruto grinned. Okay, who threw that? Natsu yelled as he flipped over the table. Damn it, Natsu, stop screwing around. Gray shouted as he stood up, accidentally knocking over Urza's cake that she was just about to eat. My, strawberry cake, Urza muttered as his eyes darkened. Oh no, Naruto shivered. Naruto-kun, I recommend that we retreat immediately, Itachi spoke up. Too late, Naruto winced as Urza jumped to her feet, knocking down Elfman with one kick and jumping into the fray. It's just another day in Fairy Tail. I guess this is no time for ballad, huh? Mirajan mused before in an instant she tore off the dress, leaving her in a miniskirt and revealing top. Let's rock this house, then. This place hasn't changed a bit, Lucy commented as she took cover. But then, I guess that's what makes it Fairy Tail. Why couldn't they just bottled it up for one day? Makarov asked darkly. Tomorrow is the day the reporter comes to collect data on the guild. Reporter. Lucy turned sharply. Cut it out, you lowlifes. Clean this place up, Makarov shouted. Oi, Gramps, Natsu yelled back. Don't go all giant on us. It really is noisy in here, Lucy commented as she leaned over the table. The others in the guild were as rowdy as ever and it didn't seem like it would end anytime soon. It can't be helped, Urza shrugged as she stood to the side wearing her new armor. This kind of fairy tale spirit isn't bad, is it? Hey, Urza has changed as well, Lucy smiled knowingly. Really? Urza asked with a raised eyebrow. Before it was, you better clean that up. Or, how dare you? Get back to work, but now you're joining the party with us. Relaxing a bit once in a while is a teenage attitude too, you know, still it makes me wonder why you've changed, Lucy smirked. Or should I say who changed you? I don't know what you're talking about, Urza denied. Naruto is a nice guy, Lucy grinned and brought her hand to her chin in a thinking pose. I wonder if I should go out with him sometime. That is not going to happen, Urza said clearly. Oh, and why is that? Lucy's grin widened. Because, just quit it already, Urza stammered and turned away. Why won't you just admit that you like him? Lucy asked her. It's complicated, Urza replied. He lost his home, his friends and his master in a matter of days. Then he left to train to get strong enough to avenge them, and then there was that whole mess with Jelal at the Tower of Heaven. He likes you, Lucy spoke clearly. He may not know it and he seems to be as dense as they come, but it's clear that he would do anything for you. I know, Urza whispered in response. Oh, Titania Urza, a new unfamiliar male voice echoed from behind them. Oh my god, the real person, the real Urza is so cool. Is this the guy from the Weekly Sorcerer? He looks excited, Lucy commented with a sweat drop. You've come, Urza mused at the sight of the strange reporter. I'm sorry, the reporter, Jason bowed. Please excuse me. My name is Lucy, Lucy introduced with a dazzling smile. I'm Urza's friend. If it's all right, can I ask a few questions? Jason questioned Urza as they walked away, completely ignoring Lucy's presence. Go ahead, Urza sighed. What the hell? Lucy thought in shock. How many armors do you use to re-equip? Jason inquired. More than 100, Urza answered. Cool, Jason exclaimed. Which do you like most? The bunny suit, Urza replied as she re-equipped a pair of bunny ears and a white fluffy tail on a skin-tight suit. The bunny suit, those ears are cute, cool. Jason squealed. What the hell is going on here? Urza froze at the sound of that very familiar voice. Huh, Jason uttered as he looked over his shoulder to see a young man, probably around 16, wearing a red trench coat with black flames on the bottom of it over a black and orange jumpsuit. He had blonde hair, blue and 6 whisker-like marks on his cheeks. Oh, you're new. Is there a problem here, Urza? Naruto asked the redhead, preferring to ask her instead of the reporter. That outfit. Bunny, damn. I need a cold shower after this. No, everything is fine, Urza reassured as she re-equipped her armor back on. Is he your boyfriend? Jason asked Urza. And no. I mean, Urza stammered out in surprise. It's Gray. The real Gray over there. Jason yelled as she ran across the hull towards the ice wielder. What the hell was that about? Naruto blinked. It's just an interview, Urza replied. Nothing more. Shouldn't we stop this? Naruto asked as Natsu slugged the reporter across the face and another brawl broke out. Let them be, Urza sighed and shook her head. Everyone, look over here. I'm going to sing, Lucy called out, drawing everyone's attention to her. She was now dressed in a bunny suit of all things and was standing on the stage. Damn, Naruto muttered only to receive a smack across the head by Urza. Quit staring, the redhead hissed at him. If you are going to stare then stare at me when I wear that suit. Sorry, Naruto apologized as the light cut off, darkening the room. What the hell, is Mira-chan performing today? Suddenly the curtains parted at the stage lit up to reveal a shocked and mortified Lucy standing next to a sitting Gajil whom was wearing a white business suit and had a guitar in his hands. You've got to be kidding me. There aren't many things that can entertain. Gajil started to sing though the music was a far cry from perfect. I was a stray wolf but now that I'm accepted by you guys then I should get closer to you. Even though we were enemies before now we're friends. This is a song I wrote called, Best Friend, so listen up. At least he's got some decent lyrics, Naruto commented. Colorful shubdoda, the melody of the blue metallic. Do shillelagh, shubidoda shillelagh. What the fuck is this? Naruto asked with wide eyes as she covered his ears. I'm not sure if I should be sorry for him or for everyone listening to this. I bite those honeys tightly. Gajil stopped and turned to the still frozen Lucy. Oi, be my dancer. Dancer, Lucy exclaimed. Dance, Gajil ordered. Yes sir, Lucy said sharply and started to cry as she danced at his side. Shalalalala, Gajil continued. Cool, the absurdity is resounding. It's the hit song of the year. Jason cheered as tears of joy started to fall from his eyes. What is that guy smoking? Naruto asked Urza who waved away his concerns. Shubidoda, Gajil was still going. What's a shubidoda? Lucy asked him. Someone stop this guy already. Earthland. Magnolia, Central Park. Why did you guys call me here? Gajil asked annoyed. I've got a job to do. Job? This coming from the guy who destroyed the guild. Jet sneered at him. You can go to any other guild to take missions. Have you no shame? Droy added. You guys can hold a grudge, Gajil said amused. Can't just let bygones be bygones, huh? Jet, Droy, don't. I'm over that, really. Levi spoke from behind the tree behind them as she remembered the incident where Gajil had attacked them and nailed them to the tree she was currently hiding behind. This is our limit, Jet continued. You're ruining our guild's reputation, Droy declared. HMPH, Gajil smirked. You won't act so casual for long. Jet yelled as he rushed forward in a burst of speed and threw out a punch. Nakuru Kurinto, Droy exclaimed as he hurled several green seeds into the ground beside Gajil. Dozens of vines in the shape of hands emerged from the soil and bombarded Gajil's form as Jet disappeared in a burst of speed. Jet reappeared above him a moment later and landed a bone-shattering kick to his midsection, sending him crashing down to the ground. Hey, Jet sneered, what are you up to? That can't be it for your power, Droy added confused. You're being picked on, huh? A new voice spoke from behind them. Laxus, Droy asked in surprise as everyone turned towards the newcomer. So, this guy is the punk that turned my guild into a mess, Laxus sneered as he approached. And that old fart, he let you join for some lame reason. It's because of this that we're looked down upon, damn it. Rijingu Boruto, a bolt of yellow lightning shot down from the sky and struck where Gajil is standing. It's all your fault, he yelled as he unleashed another bolt of lightning at the Iron Dragon Slayer. Saint stop, Laxus, Jet shouted, you're going too far. It doesn't matter how strong Laxus is, he should be able to fight back, Droy said with wide eyes. Could it be that Gajil was, from the start? He wanted us to recognize him as a comrade, Levi spoke with a look of horror. So he didn't fight back. It's all your fault that we're being made fun of, Laxus snarled as he kicked Gajil away. Why don't you just die? I'll kill anyone who goes against Fairy Tail. That's enough, Laxus. Jet shouted again. Shut up. Little weaklings should keep quiet. Laxus yelled back as he hurled a lightning bolt at them, or more specifically at Levi. Gajeel pushed himself to his feet and quickly moved in between Levi and the yellow lightning. His arm turned into an iron club and used it to shield her from the attack. Gajeel, Levi asked, surprised. He protected Levi. Droy stammered in shock. You. Jet trailed off. I believe that's enough. A new voice spoke from the side, catching their attention. Itachi. Gajeel winced as the Uchiha approached. You've got work to do, Itachi told him as he passed. Get going. Fine. Gajeel conceded and started walking away. But, Levi stammered. Don't worry about me. Gajeel waved it off as he staggered away. You dare to interfere, I'll deal with you too, Laxus said with a glare. It's too late for that, Itachi responded. I have already trapped you in my genjutsu. You're what? Laxus questioned, only to see Itachi burst into dozens of black crows. Your strength of body is impressive. However, your strength of will has much to be desired. Itachi spoke from all around him as he felt his consciousness leave him and he fell face first to the ground. What did you do to him? Jet asked, shocked that Laxus could be defeated so easily. He appears to have very little mental strength, Itachi replied. I merely took advantage of that. This guy, he's on a whole other level. I mean, I know we saw what he could do when he fought Naruto, but still, to defeat Laxus with one move, even the master would be hard-pressed to do such a thing, Droy thought. We should leave, Itachi spoke clearly. It won't be long before he overcomes my genjutsu and breaks, so we should withdraw before he regains consciousness. Yeah, Jet agreed. Are you sure we should just leave him like this? Levi asked, worried. Itachi responded, seemingly unconcerned as he started walking away. Come on, Levi. Jet gestured for her to come out from behind the tree. Okay. Levi nodded and the three members of Team Shadowgear followed the lone Uchiha away from the unconscious blonde mage. Miss Fairy Tail contest? Naruto asked, confused. It's a beauty contest, Gray explained. I know that Lucy and Juvia have entered, but I'm not sure who else has. We didn't have anything like this back in my old home, Naruto said as they stood in front of the stage. People of Magnolia Town, and people from nearby towns. A booming voice spoke as a Fairy Tail Guild member Naruto hadn't met stepped onto the stage. And those who especially came from the underworld, don't forget to go back to your graves when it's over. Okay, and for what you have all been waiting for. That Fairy Tail beauties will perform on this stage. Let the contest begin. The crowd cheered as he continued. The announcer will be me, the Sand Mage Max Allure. That guy, for him to take responsibly. Gray shook his head and turned to Natsu, whom was currently eating. Hey, are you even listening? You don't think that Urza is in this thing, do you? Naruto asked. Probably, Gray winced. She'd never refuse a challenge, no matter what it is. May I introduce to you, our first contestant, Miss Kana Alberona, Max proclaimed, and the crowd went wild as Kana stepped onto the stage. She threw out dozens of cards and they started to spiral around her, concealing her form from view. Wow, the cards are covering her body. Suddenly the cards peel away, revealing Kana, now dressed in a bikini with her fairy tale stamp on display on the side of her very slim stomach. She changed into a swimsuit. Damn, Naruto grunted as he clutched his now bleeding nose. Despite the fact that he proclaimed to hate perverts, there was no denying that with Kakashi and Jiraiya as his teachers, he didn't really have a chance. I need a cold shower after this, he thought as he watched her walk off stage. Second contest, the new S-class member, the lovely Miss Juvia. Max exclaimed as Juvia stepped out onto the stage and suddenly turned into water. Gray-sama, are you watching? Juvia smiled as her clothes changed into a swimsuit and water cascaded around her. Wow, her performance also comes with a swimsuit. Max commented. You know, I think Juvia likes you, Naruto mused. Like you're one to talk, Gray shot back. Urza has been hanging around you more than she used to. What does Urza have to do with anything? Naruto blinked in confusion. This guy can't be that dense, can he? Gray thought in disbelief as Juvia walked off stage. And now here is the third contestant. Her beauty can make all the men in Earthland drunk, Mirajan. Max declared as Mira appeared. Even Mira-chan is in this. Naruto asked in surprise. He'd heard that she was in that weekly Sorcerer magazine as a cover girl, but he'd never thought she'd enter a beauty contest like this, even if it was fairy tale. Her chakra is still different than a normal human's, Itachi thought as Mira took center stage. Her brother's is similar, however hers seems to be far denser. I am very skilled at transformation magic, Mira said, and her head transformed into Happy's. Just the face, Gajeel. True to her words, Happy's head suddenly turned into Gajeel's. That's just not right. Naruto shivered at the sight of Gajeel's face on a woman's body, especially Mirajan's. Now for our fourth contestant. Max continued. The strongest woman in fairy tale, Urza Scarlet. She really did enter, Naruto thought as Urza walked out in her